Hi, everybody, and welcome to the FNS Wrestling Podcast. This is episode 7, and I am your host. As always, with me, my co-host and son, Jackson. Say hello, Jack.
Hi.
So, we are on our official 7th episode, right?
Yeah.
And we're only going to do episode 7 once.
Right.
Is the plan, right?
Oh, yeah. That's the plan, yeah.
Yes.
But
So
we'll see.
we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Maybe record short circuits and then we're screwed.
Yes. No, we'll be okay. We're plugged in. Everything seems to be running. Actually,
Yep.
It's funny you say that because I just noticed the laptop came unplugged. So let's fix that right now.
Let's do that.
There we go.
As
So,
we speak.
not much new in our household. All of us getting ready for back to school season.
Oh, I started Universe mode on 2K19.
Yeah, I've only been telling him to try it since probably he was.
The thing I hate, though,
9
is that
years
a
old.
lot of things are pre-booked, and then also the rivalries. What if I just want to do a rivalry without it being an official rivalry?
Well, then you just keep scheduling those matches.
Okay, so then I might do that. But I'm thinking of just doing this one now, and then because they have BCW in 2K19, which is like in the My Career, so maybe I'll do like a different save universe that's just that. And
So
not
my stubborn
WWE.
son, after 5 years of resisting
Well,
playing
I
the
was
mode I
bored.
knew he would enjoy, has tried it and enjoyed it. Who knew, right? I don't know. Anything else you want to chat about? You just sipped orange juice after brushing your teeth. How was that?
I thought I was gonna wash my mouth. I'll power through, but yeah, I brushed my teeth earlier. I'm drinking orange juice. Here
So
I go
the
again.
drinks of choice today are orange juice for him, coffee as always for
Help me.
and I
Okay.
guess we're ready to start.
I probably should have washed my mouth better.
Lesson learned, life lessons on the podcast. Stop making those sounds though.
Okay.
Why are you keep drinking it if
I
it
don't
tastes
know.
awful?
Okay, I'm good.
Are you?
Good.
Okay. So we're going to move into our first segment, I guess, which will be news and rumors. So usually we start off with ratings,
Right.
right? So
That's your
NXT
job.
NXT drew 849,000 viewers on USA, up from 824,000 the week before. And it was number 10 in the 18 to 49 demographic with a .26 rating, which is also up from last week's .24. Then we have AEW, which drew 928,000 viewers, which is very good because anything over 900 seems to be high for either of these shows. They also got a .36 in the 18 to 49 demographic. So one overall viewers, one the demographic again for the week, not going head to head, but
demographic.
on separate days.
Right.
So,
And that'll lead into another news story because Wednesday Night Wars might be ending.
yep.
Right. So in this episode we are covering the NXT Super Tuesday special, and there's going to be NXT Super Tuesday 2 next week. And mine is there's reportedly discussion about it moving to Tuesday from Wednesday NXT. But I think now it's like near official,
Yes.
right? Like
I don't know. Is it? I'm hoping.
I don't know.
But
But there's
I'm okay with it.
discussion of it. I don't know. I kind of like it to just kind
Stay?
of. I like the Wednesday Night
So I have a
Wars.
theory
It's fun.
on what's going on, and I have no information or no other than just hearing people describe Vince for the last 30 whatever years of my life. I honestly wonder if this not going head to head, he's realized that no matter what, AEW is not going to have higher ratings than like SmackDown or Raw, because I think that for him, it would just kill him. He couldn't handle that, right? So now he knows for a fact they're not even breaking 1 million, and SmackDown's between like 1.6 and 2 million or something. So it's safe, right? Whereas I feel like if he thought there was even a chance it was going to beat one of his main roster shows, he would want to keep dividing the audience, right? But he's now learned even if I don't divide the audience and anyone can watch it that wants, they're still not going to do as well as my crown jewels sort of thing.
Yeah.
So he's kind of willing to not compete anymore because even with 100% of the viewers, he's still bigger, he'll find. I don't know.
As we've talked about the network as being stupid, so I don't know. I'd still like to watch AEW on Wednesday, so maybe even still watch NXT on Thursday, but...
Well, yeah, since, as we always talk about, we can't watch it in Canada when we want to anyways, we'll probably just keep our routine the same.
Right.
I don't get spoiled on anything. I think you do sometimes, but
not even on purpose.
I just don't
right.
check anything, so
But,
it's fine for me.
But I would like to watch AEW live just because we can, simply, right?
Yeah, and it's generally the more fun show for us, too.
All right, so my next news story is Brock Lesnar's WWE contract has expired and he has not re-signed, and then I wrote Q Celebration song, and I don't have one, so just pretend there's one playing.
this is one of the points where Jack and I always differ. He can't stand Brock Lesnar.
I don't
think.
like him. I mean, he hasn't been around for a while, so I honestly don't care. But
So you're gonna hate what I really hope happens with him. I mean, I think the most likely scenario is he goes back to WWE. If I'm being honest, maybe he takes a break. But even though I'm the guy that hates that AEW signing all WWE guys, if he went there for 1-year contract and did a whole like, this is a stupid indie promotion and I'm bigger than this, and then like dominates for almost the entire year, and AEW builds somebody to like take him down eventually,
not only is he a former WWE guy, but he's not like,
I would sign up for that.
He's not like Brody Lee where he's got some years still ahead of him.
But
Brock Lesnar's at the tail end of his
You bring
career.
him in for a year as a monster and play up the whole, this is the kiddie indies circuit and I'm here to dominate it, and let him dominate it for like 11 months.
Right.
And then he's gone.
Then you gotta listen to him talk, because they ain't bringing Paul Heyman with them.
But they have a million managers, right?
But a lot of them are tied up already. Archer's with Roberts. Taz has got his squad, but Brock Lesnar doesn't seem like a stable guy.
He doesn't, and I doubt it would happen. I just think that would be a cool booking for just short term, and then he's gone, right? But I imagine he'll end up with WWE.
Yeah.
But
and then I've got one related to your Impact.
Sure. Don't call it my Impact. I listen to it or I watch it. I have nothing to do with it.
Deonna Purrazzo, despite being Knockouts champion, still hasn't officially signed a contract with Impact
really?
Wrestling. Yeah.
I think she's awesome, so they should probably sign her.
Interestingly enough, so I just got that in a news video. One of their champions wasn't signed, and
that's not a great look for your promotion, right? That you
can't sign
the champion you're booking super strong right now isn't signed,
right? And she just won the Ironman match too.
She did, which was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anything else?
I've got some stuff, but do you have anything else?
No, I don't. So go ahead.
All right. The Iconics split up on Raw, as we well know. And reportedly is due to WWE's plans for a push for Peyton Royce.
Since her new finisher broke the internet, right? Everyone went bananas for it.
Yeah.
It's too bad because I love them together, right? They're a cool act.
Same. But I do see potential in Peyton Royce, so I'm okay with this.
She's by far a better worker.
I'm more okay with this than I thought I was, honestly.
She's a much better wrestler, I think, but Billie Kay's heel, like, annoying, shrill character is pretty awesome.
But, like, honestly,
But maybe she could go back to NXT, and I don't know, man. It seems like it's been long enough for her to learn how to become a good wrestler, and she still kind of hasn't. So, but anyways,
still kind of green.
Yeah, which she shouldn't be. So at some point, you just have to go. Maybe they just don't get it, right?
Right.
Because we're always like, they'll improve, give them a chance.
You can be passionate about the business, but that doesn't mean you're good at it.
In her defense, she was pulled from developmental far too quickly, right?
Right.
Because their character work was so good and so entertaining, and not because they were strong wrestlers.
No, because their characters have always been their strength.
Absolutely.
Very akin to, I guess in his later years, Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt.
Yeah,
I guess, right?
They're kind of like, oh my goodness, was another women's team that were Lay Cool, kind of that idea, right?
Cool.
Who were actually pretty interesting, but also not excellent wrestlers by any means.
Right. Yeah.
Anything else?
And then Matt Hardy, if he had stayed with WWE, would have been a backstage producer.
Yes.
Which we've already known, but he felt like he had more to offer as an in-ring competitor, so he chose to go to AEW.
Well, and even contributing to stuff at AEW, he's probably enjoying the creative aspect more, right? More of his stuff's probably going to be considered and done. So good for him, I guess.
And then finally, AOP has been released from WWE, and so I think a lot of people probably aren't big on AOP, but if you look back, how bad have they really been? Like, in NXT, they started off green, but who doesn't? And they actually got, like, to be this cool monster tag team. Paul Ellering was managing them, and it looked pretty cool.
I felt like they were the classic, like, they maximized what they were good at, and they minimized what they weren't. Like, they were just big, powerful guys.
Like, when I was watching the ECW documentary, Paul was like, maximize the positives and hide the negatives.
That was his forte, yes.
Right?
Like, they can't talk.
And even, like, when they debuted, there was a decent presentation, right?
They can't talk. They're not technical wrestlers, but they're big, powerful guys, and they look menacing.
And more so lately, I think they had potential as Rollins muscle tandem.
I actually didn't mind that, and then there was just injuries, and they're both gone.
Right.
When one's gone, they're both gone.
And so that's the thing here is WWE's... So I watched a video quick, and there might be a couple reasons that they've been released. One, WWE's been trying to cut their payroll,
Sure.
as we've seen with Black Thursday? or
Well,
Black
when you have
Wednesday,
record
whatever.
profits, right, you better try and
you got to.
get some more.
Anyways, and then we also have, they're kind of injury prone because last year,
Yes.
Akam suffered a leg injury, and then the reason they've been out lately is Razor's, I believe, arm injury,
I
shoulder
forget.
injury.
There's one of them I actually thought was pretty good, and at this point it's been so long, I'm
And
not sure which one.
WWE's not going to want to put one of them in a singles run or of any sorts, right? So they're kind of paying two people. They have two people on the payroll
not
for
using.
one injury.
And they're not using them in any,
Right.
even when they weren't injured, they're not doing much. So do you think they'll end up anywhere?
I would actually be okay with them ending up in AEW. I think it'd be an interesting signing. And
They do love tag teams.
it's another one of those signings where it's like Luke Harper becoming Brody Lee. It's like, yes, it's a WWE signing, but it's not like if they signed AJ Styles and pushed him hard, you know.
And
It'd be
honestly,
or like Seth Rollins and signed him.
You look at that division that is stacked, but they don't really have like a Haas tag team. Like it's all technical and like strikers and stuff.
Closest Haas you got is
you
maybe
just-
Luchasaurus.
Right, and it's only half the team, right? The other guy's small, flippy. So if you
Right.
bring in just a couple monsters,
Yeah, they have potential there. And again,
be interesting.
they're one of the underused talents in WWE, so I think it'd be
That does
a
bother
good
me less.
signing.
Like
right, exactly.
if you look at who
Impact
or signing,
TNA
right?
and
it's-
back in the day, like
yes,
they've
even
signed-
Impact now
right.
for a
Even
little
then,
bit, like
yeah.
Eric Young and Brian Myers. Like okay, I guess
Right.
I don't know.
But I'm saying, like,
Rhino,
yeah, if they
RVD.
yeah, if AEW signs these underused talents and gives them kind of new life, then
Yes.
I feel like that's better. Because also in TNA, it was also the fact that like they're basically the same as their WWE.
Yes, they were in fact like,
characters,
and
right.
that's why what Heath's doing in Impact is bothering me, right? It's like no departure from WWE. It's like he's doing WWE stuff just on
Yeah, in
a
2016
different
when
channel.
the draft, and then he and Rhino became the tag champs.
Yep.
Right, like he was like looking for a job and trying to get a
Same thing
contract,
now.
and like, right, it's just like slightly different,
Yep.
right? Like, but yeah. So last news story is AOP released from WWE.
Awesome. That was
Yep.
a pretty detailed news segment for us.
Yeah, I actually had the bunch this week, so
So
newsworthy week.
we'll wrap up our news and then we'll get into our first segment. Will be AEW Dynamite review.
Until
Okay, AEW Dynamite, Jackson, that's you, and I will chime in when I see fit. Go ahead.
yep. So what was last week, the Thursday, or was that Wednesday too? I can't remember.
I think it was Thursday.
I don't know. I forgot. But yeah, so we had a few things announced ahead of time. We had Best Friends versus Proud and Powerful. We had Mark Sterling, who's MJF's lawyer, versus John Moxley, and Private Party and SCU versus Young Bucks and Jurassic Express. Winners face each other at All Out, but that is to come later. My first note is, after a few weeks, Excalibur is back on commentary after a
2-3 weeks?
after
3 or 4 weeks maybe.
something resurfaced that we're not going to get into, but
Right. It seems to have
something
moved past.
did happen. So yeah, just kind of think during the whole
Speak out
speaking
thing.
out
Yep,
movement,
it was.
right? So
Yeah.
and
I'm glad to have
But
him
yeah.
back. I was explaining to Jack while we were watching it that he helps me with my note taking because
Right.
he actually calls all of the moves fairly
for the most
accurately.
part,
So instead of me having to say a flipping, twisting, jumping, whatever, he
although
he
the one
actually
time
says what it
when
is.
Trent hits a knee, he said bicycle knee. I'm almost just positive it was just Trent's usual running knee, but
I don't know. Maybe his running
Whatever.
knee is a bicycle knee.
I don't think it is a bicycle.
So I was
knee.
glad to see him back. The only other note off the top I had was it was nice to see fans and they were looking to be properly socially distanced and wearing masks, right?
And a
So
little closer this time as well.
there were some down in the lower part, it looked like. So yeah,
Right.
it's definitely
We're getting there, people.
adds to the presentation for sure.
Yep, we're getting there.
Yep.
Just real quick, we are reminded of the lead up to the Proud and Powerful versus Best Friends match, and that's going to be our opening contest.
It
And
is.
the Best Friends, I have it as Best Friend. Best Friends jump Santana and Ortiz on the ramp, and Santana versus Chuck suplex into a suplex of his own.
So I'm already a little bit happy because you guys know I don't love Best Friends. We talk about it most every week. But this was a different start, right? It's not them coming down and doing their normal shtick comedy thing, right? It was them being serious. So it's like when Breezango tells us they're going to be all business, and we don't really see it because their entrances are still whatever. These guys are actually seem annoyed, and they're way more intense. So that's
and there's actual feud coming into this one.
There is. So I like that start.
Yep. And then Trent dives off the stage to take out P&P, Proud and Powerful, Santana Ortiz, whatever you want to call them.
Mm-hmm.
Best friends attempt a suplex onto the stairs, but Santana pulls Ortiz out. Ortiz chokes Trent with I think it was a bandana, while shouting at Sue. Or a shirt.
I just had steps, guardrails, and choking.
While he was shouting at Sue.
He was yelling, "Look at your baby boy, Sue," which makes me laugh. I think it's the second or third time he's done it. It makes me laugh. His ring talking or whatever it's called is really
I
funny.
know you also love that about Kevin Owens when he did that when he was a heel. Yeah. Chuck is stacking chairs.
So many chairs. I had still building.
And then he has one lay flat on the top.
Yep.
And spear by Trent to Ortiz, and Santana throws chair at Chuck's head real good.
Yes. And then Trent spears.
I was like, oh.
2 weeks in a row, I thought Trent spears have looked awesome.
Yeah, they've been pretty.
And the chair throw looked really good too.
It was just boom right in the face. Chuck hits a back body drop on Santana to reverse a powerbomb on the ramp, and Chuck gets thrown onto the chair stack.
Yes, from the ramp onto the things he built, right? Yeah, it was cool.
It was a ton of chairs.
And then the match actually starts,
and then the match starts, yeah.
So all that was pre-match.
Yeah, all that was pre-match. And we're starting with Trent versus Santana. Chuck Taylor is out because he got thrown onto the chair stack, so it kind of starts as a handicap match.
Right.
And we get a quick striking exchange. Santana runs the ropes, and Trent hits a nasty meteor. It looked really good.
Yeah, you yelled about that one when it happened. Yep, it
was good. Really nice, actually.
Yep, it was.
Even just the way it was sold as well, it always helps. Trent gets whipped in the ropes, and Ortiz grabs him, and Santana hits a pump kick, so kind of the dirty tactics there. Ortiz tags in, and a double suplex by Proud and Powerful results in a near fall. Gut-wrench suplex by Ortiz, and Santana tags back in. Ortiz whips Santana into the corner for a double team on Trent, but he reverses. Trent hits a tornado DDT on Ortiz, and Ortiz goes to the outside and gets hit with a suicide dive by Trent. Trent attempts a spear, but Santana leapfrogs it, and Trent goes face first into the barricade.
That looked pretty cool, I thought.
Yep, and then we get a Chuck Taylor hot tag, forearms to Proud and Powerful, Santana Ortiz sent to the outside, and taken out by a Tope Con Hero by Chuck.
Right.
And I think the difference between this and a Tope Con Hilo is Tope Con Hilo is the one you jump over the top rope like that, but I think he kind of slingshots himself.
So when you put your hands on it and flip on the ropes and flip that way?
I think it's a Tope Con Hero.
Interesting.
Like the somersault. I think it was because it was more of a slingshot thing, right? So I think that's the difference there.
I did not know that.
Eat Defeat. I don't know either. I'm just assuming because I know a Tope Con Hilo is. So.
Yes.
Eat Defeat to Santana by Chuck, followed by a Falcon Arrow for a near fall.
I thought that was a nice combo. Yeah. I think they call it the soul food, not the Eat Defeat. But it looked good. Ortiz
breaks it up. That's the only way I know it's called. Or Lost in the Woods was what.
Who's that?
Xavier Woods.
Oh my goodness. You remember Xavier Woods' signature moves?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Honor Roll,
That's totally normal.
Flipping clothesline.
Totally normal.
And the elbow where he walks on the ropes.
Yes.
And then that one's kind of memorable because that one's actually not bad. Sunset Flip by Chuck gets another near fall. Trent tags in and hits a running knee.
Bicycle knee? Question mark? No,
I don't think it was. I mean, unless I'm watching it.
Hey, I defer to you. So if you say it wasn't, I'm just bugging you.
Okay. Trent gets sent into the apron and knocked onto the steel steps, which looked pretty cool.
It did.
It's just a straight back bump.
Just a thud onto that thing.
Yeah. Chuck stops the street sweeper attempt, which is Proud and Powerful's finishing move. Trent hits pile driver thingy. It's like half of their tag finisher.
Yes,
it's similar to Hangman's Deadeye.
It is.
If not the same. I don't know.
I think I had some sort of driver.
It's a move in the 2K, in the 2K games called the Dude Buster, so.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
Santana put Ortiz's arm on the ropes to cause a rope break. And Chuck is sent into the crowd by Santana, and Trent can't get a powerbomb. His back kind of gets it. Santana hits a cheap shot on Trent with a baton.
Retractable steel baton is how it's described to us.
Proud and Powerful hit the street sweeper for the win. Proud and Powerful defeat the best friends.
What did you think?
I thought this was a good match again. A really nice start to this. The whole brawl thing just was fresh, I guess.
Yeah,
Right?
I loved the first 3 quarters. The final bit was good, right? But I really liked everything up to the last little bit.
Right. Just
And
a solid
honestly,
opener.
I keep saying I don't like the best friends, but I really think Trent's looked awesome the last couple weeks because they're doing more intense. They're not stopping and hugging, right? They're sort of just focusing on wrestling.
It's really a testament to AEW's booking
Like Pride and
know-how.
the
They're
Pride,
making
Pride
you
and
like them
Powerful are
more.
bringing the best out of best friends, right? By
Right.
making them serious. And I think Trent has looked awesome and Chuck fine as well. Normally, I don't want to see these guys, but if they're gonna do this, I'm totally fine with it. So I
Right.
loved almost all of this match, and it was another super hot start, I thought.
Right. Next we have an MJF promo, and Lee interrupts to tell MJF Mark Sterling, the lawyer, locked
Yes.
himself in a room. Lawyer is trying to find a way of the match. He tries to find a way of the match.
Yeah, he doesn't want to fight
And
Moxley. He's
Wardlow
locked himself
boots
away.
the door open and
Right.
just comes in and grabs him. MJF basically, just the gist of it is, tells Mark that he may be afraid of Mox, but the scarier thing is getting in the way of MJF's goals. And obviously, if Mark Sterling does not compete against John Moxley, MJF does not get the title match. Obviously, that's his goal.
I thought this was a smart, short little way. It makes sense, right? That he's basically saying, I get that you're afraid of Moxley because Moxley's going to hurt you, but the option is you make me mad and it's going to be worse. So
Right.
your best option is to go and fight this guy. So, and I
Right.
thought he was really intense, and it was short, but it made sense to me.
And it's like, then there's more incentive for this lawyer to actually be willing to fight Moxley, I guess, right? It just makes more sense.
And a little bit of MJF getting out arguing a lawyer who are professional arguers, right? Like he's the one finding a way to persuade the lawyer to do something, which is what lawyers are sort of famous for doing and are paid to do. So it's kind of interesting as well on that at that level.
Yep. Next we had a Private Party and SCU, which is Kaz, Frankie Kazarian, and Christopher Daniels against the Young Bucks and Jurassic Express, Jungle Boy, and Luchasaurus.
I'm going to start out by letting everybody know I feel pretty similarly about SCU as I do Best Friends. It's just like they're
more so SCU because they're just like
an
they're
older
old
version.
and they're just.
So I mean,
Best Friends could be interesting, but I think SCU has run their course.
oh for sure, and I think they're just
Scorpio
there
Sky
as
has potential, but
mid-card fodder. Yes, I don't even know how much he considers to be part of SCU. I think he's going to have some singles work. But anyways, I'm not huge fans of SCU coming into this.
right, you can really tell that because he's in that match against the Dark Order.
Right.
And if it was more SCU, then wouldn't it be like maybe SCU and Matt Cardona, and
You
that's
would
just
think.
it, right?
Yeah. And I'm
But-
not I like Private Party, and I think they have massive potential. I'm not quite as high on them as some people are, but their future is for sure bright.
Yep. And I just wrote Young Bucks theme is fire. I do enjoy
You
their
do.
theme. And I noted no entrance for Jurassic Express or Private Party.
Right.
Just SCU, and then after a commercial break, we got Young Bucks entrance. Young Bucks are more serious after kicking Hangman out of the Elite. No like entrance pose on the ramp.
Yeah, they're
just because like
it's kind of their. This
maybe
is how
just
they
they're
work heel.
pissed off. I guess
This is kind of when they're heely, they're like super cocky and stuff. So seems like they're sort of transitioning into that for whatever reason.
maybe we get like a heel Elite.
I think you might
Yeah.
actually, and then that lets Paige keep working babyface, right? Because when there's crowds, everybody loves him right now,
And
so you can't.
and Cody can turn heel because he's still in the Elite.
And Omega can,
And Omega can work heel.
yeah, or he can kind of
was in
go
the
in
Bullet
between
Club.
or whatever he needs to do. Because right now it looks like he might go in between. He's still trying to work with Paige, right? So,
Yeah.
but the Bucks definitely, there was a definite
I
attitude
do like
change.
how it's like the Bucks and Paige are mad at each other, then Kenny Omega's just trying to play peacemaker, I guess.
So it's that whole idea you're family, but you're just sort of fighting amongst each other, and hopefully you can sort it out without fracturing the whole group.
Right.
Yeah.
We had Kaz and Jungle Boy to start, and many pinfall attempts by both guys. It was just like one of those back and forth, kind of trying to get a quick pin.
Yeah, I
kinda.
had no advantage until they tag out, right? Sort
Right.
of thing. Yep.
Matt Jackson and Mark Quinn tag in for their respective teams, and a pop-up drop kick by Quinn. You know, where like Matt Jackson attempts like some pop-up move and then gets hit with the drop kick.
Yep.
Isaiah Cassidy tags in and hits a Damagiri on Matt, kind of like a blind tag-ish. Springboard head scissors sends Matt to the outside, and Matt throws a beer up ban and takes his hangman sign.
Right. So they have a planted fan right by ringside who.
But I think this was more like less of them being heel and more than them just like, why you cheering for Hangman after what he did, maybe? Less of like full on heel yet. More
It's
just like
maybe not
directed
full
because of
on, but it's
Hangman.
definitely an attitude shift from
Well,
previous
yeah,
weeks,
but I would
right?
say also just not quite heel yet. We're definitely getting there.
Which is
but
fine, right? I don't mind a subtle change. That's great.
Yeah, if anything, that's just like better storytelling.
I agree most of the time.
Yeah. Nick Jackson tags in, and Christopher Daniels is also in, and he eats a roundhouse kick. Matt tags back in, and they had a backbreaker, kind of neckbreaker, double team thingy majiggy.
Another sort of heelish thing I noticed is the Bucks aren't tagging. Like at one point, one of them like fakes like he's gonna tag in one of who is it, Private Party, but then tags in his own brother like as if I'm gonna tag you in.
No,
sort of thing.
Jurassic Express.
Sorry, Jurassic Express.
But yeah.
It's kind of like I'm gonna tag them in. Nope, I'm tagging my brother as if I tag you in. Which again, like 2 weeks ago, they wouldn't have done that.
Right. Exactly. Then where am I? Right. Nick tags back in, and then Matt tags back in too quick because I just kind of take notes and I miss some stuff. So
you'll see him.
Quick tags is a good tactic though because it keeps you fresh. And I feel like just proving that's a good tactic is if I do it and like say if I wanted to do that in the games, because you actually have health bars in the game, so then like you could really tell how well it works.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
So
a visual representation of it for you.
Daniels reverses a double team. Jungle Boy tags in and Kaz takes him down and hits oh my god. Instead of writing leg drop on Nick, I wrote Lego drop.
Well, that would hurt too, depending how big it is, I guess, and pointy.
Leg drop on Nick where he kind of like goes for the shoulder thing and then Kaz like jumps up and hits a leg drop. It is kind of a clever move. I've always kind of just like that. I always thought it was kind of clever.
Yeah, it's cool.
Kaz catches Nick's slingshot with a cutter. Chris Daniels moonsault to the outside to take out the Bucks.
Which looked pretty good. I'm going to give Daniels a lot of grief sometimes because he's not my favorite, but he can still pull off. I think at times he shows his age, and then there's glimpses where he looks the same as, because let me tell you, that guy in like 2005, 6, he was probably considered the best wrestler not in WWE for a couple years. And then early on, his tag team with Kaz, I forget what they were called in TNA.
Or in ROH, weren't they called something?
They were awesome.
And I didn't like them because they took the title off Adam Cole.
Makes sense. But yeah, they like, so I have a long history of really liking Daniels. I think it's just clear he's sort of slowed down a bit, right? Which makes sense. He's not a young guy.
It is always a shame because, like, I think maybe it could be the same for, like, say, I don't know, Johnny Gargano or Adam Cole for me. I watch them just be awesome for however long.
In their prime and killing it.
Right. And especially the styles Daniels and guys like him would wrestle, like, you do start to just deteriorate almost. I feel like it could soon be the same for AJ Styles.
Well, and Jericho's already on that slope, right? Like, he can still pull out a decent match, but listen, as a guy who's over 40, like, I noticed that about 36 or 7, and I have a history of playing a whole whack of sports. Things are just harder, and the other thing is you don't recover faster, right? Like, something I would do when I was in my early 20s and get up the next morning fresh and fine. Now it's like I do that, I wake up and I'm sore, right? So it's just a recovery factor, and you're just a bit slower. And so go watch some Daniel stuff in his prime. He was incredible. But
right. And especially at WWE, when guys get old, it's going to be harder with the schedule that they're on. Obviously not now because of the global pandemic, but just on a average year, I guess it would have been like.
And the in-ring style is different now, right? Like, it used to be the slow plodding 80s style where
like
you could work forever for most people, but now
I think is also why like guys like Hulk Hogan were trying to stick around and we're just around for so long because Hogan was wrestling in like the 80s, right? And then he just had this renaissance in WCW, which was his character, but he still wrestled that.
Near the end, there's a podcast I listen to. I forget which one. I wish I could give them credit. It might be Attitude Era. No, probably not. Anyways, they literally do a game where how many bumps will Hogan take in an entire match, and a lot of times it's like 1 or 2. Like, he honestly works an entire match at some points without taking any bumps at all, basically.
Right.
So anyways, we digressed there a little bit.
Yeah, I lost. Where am I?
I recommend using the cursor to click where you leave off, because then when I get distracted and go back, it's still there.
Springboard leg drop by Kaz for a 2 count, and Isaiah Cassidy tags in, then Mark Quinn tags in. Again, just, I don't know, can't really get much in there.
No.
Jungle Boy reverses, but Private Party managed to hit a double team kind of flapjack thingy majiggy.
Mm-hmm.
It was something involving a flapjack.
Yeah.
Daniels hits a suplex on Jungle Boy, and SCU hit a double team. Kaz tags in, more double team offense by SCU, and we actually get a picture-in-picture break here. Daniels takes out the Bucks on the apron, and Olympic Slam by Jungle Boy. Interesting.
Yeah.
Luchasaurus hot tag,
good.
and Luchasaurus takes out SCU, but Private Party hit a double drop kick to take him down. Luchasaurus kind of flips out of the way of a move thing, and
did you see at one point he takers up, like he Undertaker just sat up from lying flat on his back, and then handspring, clothesline, and moonsault off the apron.
Handspring, and then double clothesline on Private Party. Moonsault on SCU, and Matt Jackson blind tag. Luchasaurus hits a double choke slam on Private Party, and then the Young Bucks kind of stopping heels, and then they do a synchronized offense with Jurassic Express, and I've kind of got it covered in more detail here. So Matt and Luchasaurus do stereo standing moonsaults, and at the same time, Nick and Jungle Boy hit top rope splashes, so all just kind of come together there.
Yep.
Which is kind of cool.
Yeah, it is.
SCU hit a double team neck breaker on Jungle Boy. Cassidy tags in and hits a tope atomico, which is kind of a slingshot swanton kind of thing into the ring. And it's got a similar name to the Topecon Hero or Topecon Hilo because it's a similar move, right? So
it is.
The kind of, I think tope is top rope or whatever, and in Suicide Dives they're technically called Tope Suicida.
Yes.
Right? So and then we got Matt accidentally hits super kick on Jungle Boy, and then correct me if I'm wrong, after he was just kind of right?
He's not just sort of their new attitude. They don't really care.
It'd be more, I think. He'd care more if it was his own brother, right?
Yes,
so,
I'm sure.
A BME by Daniels, best moonsault ever, even though it's probably not anymore.
Still looks pretty good. Gotta give it to him.
But, it's followed by shooting star press by Quinn. That was pretty nice. The height and just the...
Yeah,
it was clean. It's like Montez Ford's frog splash.
Their leaping is incredible, those two guys. Yeah.
Luchasaurus breaks up the pin, and Luchasaurus flips Quinn into a powerbomb by Jungle Boy, and I wrote wowza.
Nice.
It was kind of cool. It was I don't remember specifically, but it was he just kind of flipped him into a powerbomb somehow.
Oh, yes. When he flipped him, flipped him over his head, and then Jungle Boy caught him and powerbombed him.
Back suplex, but he flipped him out, and then he just caught him in a powerbomb. You got to see it just to kind of understand it, but...
Yeah, I think at one point I had in my notes, what did I just see? Because we were what? Because the camera angle wasn't the best, right? So we had to go back and watch it. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. Luchasaurus tags in a suicide dive to SCU by Jungle Boy. And Matt tags in and the Young Bucks hit a BTE trigger on Mark Quinn for the win. Young Bucks and Jurassic Express defeat SCU and Private Party. And then the Young Bucks walk away from a handshake from Jurassic Express. And that means we'll get Young Bucks versus Jurassic Express at All Out.
Which also kind of makes sense with the Bucks sort of turning heel, right? Because the Jurassic Express are definite baby faces. Right. So, yeah, they kind of stole the pin there, right? More heel tactics. I thought it was a really fun match with lots of action, and it's sort of queuing up this change in attitude. I won't say heel turn yet because who knows, but it's a definite attitude shift for the Bucks, I guess. And like I said before, probably because Paige is going to be a super hot babyface, I think, when fans come back full time.
Yeah, but he kind of turned on the Bucks, though, so.
But I think they're trying to play it up like he just, I don't know, he did, but I think
desperate?
he's trying to say, he's sort of confused, and I don't know. We'll see where it goes, I guess.
Then we had Jake Hager and Orange Cassidy backstage. Hager kind of walks into the room where Cassidy is, tells Cassidy that Jericho wants Cassidy ringside for his match. I know it'd be smart to be there.
Yeah, it was kind of amusing, super quick segment, just because it's the two guys that never talk, right? It's the two silent guys, basically, that sitting there together.
Yeah, even just for a few seconds, they're just
And
Hager's
Cassidy
just,
puts his feet up on Hager's lap, and Hager swats them away, and then just says one basic thing, and then that's it.
It would be smart to be there.
Right, so, I don't know, it was good.
FTR promo, and I wasn't able to get too much specifically from this, but just Tully basically talks about how they're one step closer to their goal of becoming the tag team champions.
They completed step one by winning the gauntlet. Now they have to win the titles on Saturday, and then they start flashing their new hand signals or whatever that is.
And Fear the Revelation was what Dax said. What revelation? What did you revelate? That you have a manager now? That's what I kept saying. What did you revelate?
Revelation will be the...
Revolution.
I guess.
I don't see no revelation here. And then we have a Kenny Omega in-ring interview with Tony Schiavone, aka Tony Schiavone. So Kenny comes out, and then Tony asks Kenny, what he thinks about Hangman being out of the Elite. Kenny says Hangman will have to live with his choice, and FTR fooled Hangman. Kenny says he and Hangman will defeat FTR like the rest of the tag teams they defeated, and FTR and Tully come out to interrupt. No entrance music, and cooler in tow.
Yes, obviously.
I accidentally wrote Daz instead of Dax.
I call him Dawson at some point, so don't worry. Because I can't.
Dax says he's impressed that two singles guys won the tag titles. Kind of a burn there.
I like that. Yeah, I thought that was sort of clever. Almost like it's an insult to be a singles wrestler to them, which I think is super on brand and cool for them.
He says FTR don't really have a problem with Kenny, and then they offer a toast, and they give him chocolate milk. I want chocolate milk. Kenny says he likes chocolate milk, but not hillbillies, kind of roasting them there.
Yes.
'Cause like the country, whatever stuff thing.
Sure.
Kenny says to get the attack over, but keep Tully away, 'cause he's kind of just like, yeah, I know you guys are going to jump me, so just come on, do it. Dax says he knows Hangman, I've skipped a note. Hangman comes out, and Dax immediately mocks him. Dax says he knows Hangman, and he's an insecure boy, and FTR didn't get in his head that Hangman made the choice himself.
They're kind of like, we didn't even do anything. You're making these choices. You're always, and it was sort of what the Bucks said to him last week, right? Like this idea, you've always been good enough. It's your insecurities that are in your way. And so FTR is kind of saying the same thing. Like, we didn't really mess with you. You got in your own head and messed this up.
Right. And then FTR grabbed the tag belts as Kenny is trying to calm down Hangman. And then when Kenny and Page request the titles back, FTR kind of dropped them and then leave.
Yeah.
Drop the belts, not punch the people.
What did you think?
Good segment. Just puts in that now there's actually kind of a bit of a feud now.
It's kind of like it's the Bucks versus Page, and Omega's kind of trapped in the middle, right? And FTR are floating around the
FTR just kind of trying to stir the pot.
So I'm wondering what the general feel will be for Page, because I think people really were starting to see him as this like Austin-y kind of thing, and now they're going really in depth with the like he's got insecurities and stuff, which is cool because that's kind of a new angle for wrestling to actually consider and do it well, I guess. So that's kind of interesting, but it's definitely a departure from what it looked like. It just looked like Page was like the loner, right, who was just gonna fight everybody sort of thing like Austin, and now it's like he gets in his own way sort of thing is what they're trying to tell us. So I don't know, it's kind of interesting. I thought the segment was a bit long, but that this idea of FTR just messing with Page constantly, right, and telling them, no, we're not messing with you, you're messing with yourself, but they're still there doing something.
Yep.
Yeah.
The next we had a Chris Jericho interview with that interviewer I don't like.
Is it Marvez?
Yeah. I don't really care for him. I prefer Dasha.
He's just kind of there, right? He doesn't ever really say much.
Jericho says the most of Mayhem will be the perfect culmination of his feud with Orange Cassidy. Says he made Orange a star, but he's gonna destroy him and kind of teach him a lesson at All Out. And that Joey Janela is a sacrifice tonight. And then we have Joey Janela versus Chris Jericho. And
what do we always say in promos in AEW? That they do tend to put each other over, right? So he did it again, talking about that Cassidy is a main event star, but I love the heel. You work the heel part in of because I made him that way, right? Because of stuff he's doing with me, he's now a main eventer. So you're at one hand saying how good the guy is to build up the match, but saying like still being a heel because I made him, right? Right. So I thought it was cool.
Yeah. Then we do have Joey Janela versus Chris Jericho. Orange Cassidy comes up to the crowd with a backpack, sits on a chair, just watches the match. Jericho's immediately on the attack on Janela, just coming in strong, just punches and kicks and whatnot. Irish whip in the corner by Jericho is followed by a running clothesline. Back suplex by Jericho, followed by another back suplex. Jericho standing on Janela's hair and pulls his arms.
Yeah. And he's kind of taking his time between moves and yelling at Cassidy and like this methodical domination of this guy, right?
Right. Just kind of like really the cliche of sending a message to Cassidy.
Yep.
Quite literally, because he's shouting at him.
Yes. Although you can't even tell if Cassidy's awake or not, right? With the sunglasses on.
He could be napping for all we know. Janela attempts springboard and is caught by a really good code breaker. And then he taps out to the Walls of Jericho.
I thought both the code breaker and it was like a really deep Walls of Jericho,
and
right?
Jericho defeats Joey Janela.
Yeah, it was submission. A squash.
Yeah. This is kind of what Janela has become.
It's not great for him, but I'm not a big fan, right? So,
I was never a huge fan. So.
Yeah, and I actually thought the tag team with him and Kiss would be fine. As again, maybe not a main event tag team, but fill out the division some more, I guess. But I don't know.
Have a mid-card crap match with SCU.
But somebody had to do this for Jericho, so I'm fine with it being Janela, right? And I thought that combination of the code breaker was huge, and
and then Jericho unleashes a post-match attack, sends Janela into an exposed turnbuckle, and wipes Janela's blood onto his Orange Cassidy shirt.
That was a nice touch. So now there's blood on the face, right,
of the
on
Orange
his
Cassidy shirt, so it looks like
a
it was
cool
funny.
idea.
I'm gonna hope he's wearing that at All Out tonight.
There's a lot of blood in AEW.
I don't know.
Doesn't bother me, but
it's not
just
even like gruesome though. It's not like it's not overdone.
No.
Right?
Well, the Cody one the hard way to the back of the head was pretty gross.
What one?
When he got those staples in his head back. Who did that to him?
What was that?
Anyways, doesn't matter.
Oh, did Shawn Spears hit him with the chair? Was
yes,
that
I think
one?
that was it.
Or the one he did the dive to the stage and he got it on his face.
Oh,
yeah,
that
was
too.
Pretty
No,
gnarly.
I was thinking of the chair
Or remember
shot.
his match with Dustin Rhodes at Double or Nothing last year?
So a lot of blood is what we're saying.
And they're both bleeding.
Yes,
Cody
that
Rhodes,
was bloody.
Cody Rhodes is their Ric Flair.
That was bloody.
He's also got blonde hair, so.
That's right.
And then Cassie comes to the ring to help, but Hager ambushes him, and Sunny Kiss attempts to help as well, but is taken out as well. And Orange Cassidy takes control and hits a DDT on Jericho. And Hager saves Jericho from further damage, pulls him out of the ring, and Cassie pours out bubbly.
Yeah. Bless you.
Thanks. On the ring.
Yeah, so
which he had in his backpack.
He's wasting Jericho's beloved favorite drink just to make him angry, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And Jericho's just unstable enough that would really bother him, I guess, is the point.
Or just so self-centered that it's like, that's my drink. Because literally they made, like, Jericho, like, with him on it.
Yes.
Actual bubbly with him on
the label,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, so. But yeah, it was a squash. But the end was cool.
Yep.
Just the code breaker, Walls of Jericho, and then the after-match bit just really did help to set it up. So, yeah.
Yeah, it was fine.
It was fine.
Both of us.
Shocker.
It was fine.
Yep. Yeah. But it was fine. Then we had a Matt Hardy versus Sammy Guevara Broken Rules match is set for All Out. If Matt loses, he leaves AEW.
I thought this was a really cool looking video package. It made it look like they have this really long, violent history between them.
Even though it's literally just been the past couple months. But.
So I said to you at the time, it feels to me like Hardy loses, although we're going to do predictions, but anyways, I'll spoil mine now. Hardy loses and comes back as not Matt Hardy, maybe, because he's done this whole
Damascus.
No more, or whatever, maybe something new. I don't know. But I thought the video package, the video package looked really good and made this feud look more bitter than maybe it actually is. So I thought it was well done.
Mm-hmm. Then we had a Team Taz promo, new theme in Tron for Team Taz, I believe. Taz says one of his guys will win the Casino Battle Royal, and Darby should veer Ricky Starks. Jake Roberts interrupts, accompanied by Lance Archer, and calls Team Taz a couple of squirrels that are fighting for a nut they won't get.
And I
guess fighting for this title opportunity that they're not, because he's saying Lance Archer will win.
And I'm disappointed in myself because I still at this point didn't realize what was happening here. Like I just thought, because anyways, get on to what happens. But at this point, I thought it was something else other than just a Rumble, or a Battle Royal build.
And then Eddie Kingston
but should have known.
Interrupts with his crew, Butcher Blade, Pentagon, and Phoenix. Eddie tells Roberts and Taz to hurry up because they're on live TV, kind of breaking the fourth wall a wee bit. Kingston says Archer is tough, but he is tougher. Just kind of, again, like he grew up on the streets, didn't have anything.
Yeah. It was an interesting thing to say because I maybe it'll lead to a match.
Different
with them,
kind of tough.
Yep,
I guess.
I think you're right.
He says Taz used to be around killers, but now he's around losers and wannabe machines or something. He says something about Brian Cage.
There's some sort of machine insult there. We didn't have time.
Archer attacks Team Taz and brawl ensues. Darby Allin comes out gunning for Starks, comes out right away. Power and Powerful come out with Jake Hager and Best Friends attack them. And then we're back from the commercial break and brawl continues. There's some goobers I didn't recognize.
Some goobers, yeah.
Yeah, and this was a long time.
A standard Battle Royal go home segment, it basically, right?
Yep. Then we had a quick Dark Order vignette. Brody Lee says he takes what he wants. Dustin Rhodes says what Lee did was unforgivable and he will pay. And then just a recap of the setup to the random tag match.
And while they're doing this recap, the idea is the melee is still happening in the ring, right? It never really ended. It was still going on, which was, I thought, an interesting choice. I thought that segment was...
It was an approach, yes.
I thought that segment was already way too long with everyone coming in, and I was kind of hoping AEW was above doing that, just having like all the participants come out and fake battle royal the day before, but I don't know. It didn't bother me as much as
actually
whatever.
3 days before?
Well, yes, not for us, but yeah, in real life.
I guess.
Yep, so the Dark Order video sort of cut off what was happening in the ring, so we didn't have to watch how it ended.
But it was technically still occurring.
It was.
And then we had Thunder Rosa making her AEW debut. She would end up facing
Serena Deeb.
Serena Deeb, yep. Straight Edge Society alum.
That's right.
And then, so I didn't get a ton of notes for this because this is obviously just a squash, but Neckbreaker by Serena is where I start. Thunder Rosa gets back in control after the commercial break, hits the awesome clothesline, not an awesome clothesline, the awesome clothesline, because that's what Miz called it.
That's right.
It was average clothesline, actually. Miz clothesline in the corner, followed by Meteora, kind of to get back in the ring. Serena kicks out of a Death Valley Driver, and Thunder Rosa wins via the Thunder Driver, which was an okay finisher.
Yeah, so in the beginning, I thought that Deeb was getting way too much offense because we didn't know her and she didn't look very good. And then as the match went, I thought she actually looked okay. I thought the corner drop kick by Rosa was good. The backstabber by Deeb looked good. Rosa worked in some decent combinations. So by the end, I thought it was actually a decent match. I was a little confused by the message. I'm not sure why a champion of a national promotion that you're trying to promote as like a dream match against your champion is being taken to the limit by someone who's, I think they said she's not even signed, or were they talking about Thunder Rosa when they said that?
I think Thunder Rosa's probably
anyways,
not signed because she's NWA champion.
Deeb, who's definitely not gotten very much exposure, right? Like you can't consider her a main event star or anything. So I thought, even though I enjoyed the match for what it was, I thought the story behind it that Thunder Rosa needed
I'm also not
got
big
taken
on
to the
Thunder
limit,
Rosa.
sort of. I'm open. Everyone knows how I feel about her.
I'm just waiting for her. It's kind of like Walter, where I just need to see this.
I'm hoping that
I need to see a match that proves the hype, I guess.
I'm exactly the same way.
More to say, I guess. Just because, like, I feel like with Walter, we've said already, but, like, just when he came, everybody was like, oh my god, it's Walter. I remember he debuted at TakeOver. I'm just like, who dis?
Oh, I was listening to things saying he was the hottest free agent, and I had never heard of him. And I'm like, I consume so much wrestling stuff. How good could he be if I haven't heard of him? But he's pretty awesome.
It's just like, then,
he's pretty good.
Yeah, I just kind of gotta, I don't know, just kind of gotta see, and then.
All right, so let's get going on this Mox promos next.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. John Moxley promo. Mox's 2020 has been bad enough, and MJF as champ will make it worse, and he can't allow that. That's basically the gist of it. Again,
it's kill or be killed.
Says a lot of stuff, so it's just hard to.
And MJF's done all the easy stuff now, the talking and whatever, and now the hard part's coming, where he actually has to fight him.
Where he has to, all this campaigning and everything.
I just had it's the standard back and forth. Like it's all been good, but it's been enough. Like I'm ready for the match, right? So
they've done a good job of hyping it, so I'll give them that because they've done a good job with like the press conference thingies, the Moxley kind of outsmarting him and attacking him, and then the contract signing was actually really good. Just if you compare it to WWE's contract signings, they've done questionable jobs.
Yep, it was better for sure.
That right, so just again, they do it better than WWE. Yeah. Sorry,
Tony talks to Swole. You're distracted. Let's go.
Then Big Swole interview says they'll have a tooth and nail match, and
don't know what that means.
I really hope this is not like an eye for an eye match.
I've heard since then. I told you this morning that it's a cinematic match, and it's been moved from the whatever their pre-show is, the buy-in. Is that what it's called? To the main to the main show.
Which could be a good sign. So I guess I'll trust them on this.
Right, considering it's a cinematch, it's already done. So clearly they think it's good enough to put on the main show. And I'll trust
their judgment. And their last cinematch thingy was amazing.
Yep. So we're gonna give them a chance.
Stampede is so good. But yeah. Then we get a pizza delivery. As distraction. And yeah, before this I wrote, Big Swole does not excel at promos. Just like the way she says things sometimes just makes it weird.
I think she's okay. She's got good charisma. She's sort of interesting when she's talking. And I liked the way this went because I feel like if this were a WWE angle, the pizza person delivering would have been it, right? But AEW goes another step where the pizza person's just a distraction, right?
Right.
Sorry, I don't think you've gotten there yet.
No, I was just covering it. And Baker attacks Swole with a crutch from behind. Big Swole gets her face rubbed on a pizza, and then a lockjaw submission by Britt Baker.
With a mask on her hand.
On her hand, just because it's like a mandible claw, but also the Rings of Saturn, I guess. Like, I don't know.
It is. It's Rings of Saturn with a fish
with
hooking,
the mandible
basically, almost.
claw
Yeah.
kind of put in there.
I thought it was a good attack, and I said good for Swole for taking all that, because that can't be fun just having your face rubbed in that pizza, and she took that like a champ. So
Yeah,
good for her, be willing to do it.
And might I add, there was pizza being rubbed on her face when she was in the lockjaw. Right, yeah, lockjaw, whatever.
So it's interesting, before I knew that it was a cinematch, or whatever you want to call it, I have in my notes, right, that Swole is limited, so placing this match on the buy-in makes sense to me.
But the cinematch is actually also smart, too.
That's what I'm saying. And I said, I'm nervous about this match, but I'm hoping to be surprised. So obviously they might have felt the same way, and that they need to pre-record a match with Swole, right?
Or no, Baker.
Maybe
right?
they don't trust her live. Maybe Baker too. I don't know.
Oh, you were talking about... Okay.
So I'm talking about Swole, right? Like, I don't... So this...
Yeah, Swole...
I'm optimistic that
Swole is questionable in the ring.
I think they're happy with what they got, and they're moving it to the main card, so maybe it'll be good.
Yeah. Again,
Right.
I will trust them.
Carry on.
Then we have our main event. Jon Moxley versus lawyer Mark Sterling.
Yes.
Wardlow has the force mark out to make sure he competes, so this is kind of funny. He just kind of throws him out and just like, he's like, go.
Yes.
And then Mox enters through the crowd. Mark Sterling's nameplate says MJF's inattentive lawyer making AEW debut.
Yes, it did. I like that.
And just throughout the match, you really do see Mark is afraid of Moxley.
Yeah, he does a pretty good job, to be honest. I thought. I mean, I'm not a fan of this whole thing, but for what it was, he did a good job.
Yeah. Mox offers a free shot, and Mark can't even make fists, so Mox
right.
helps
You
him
have
with
to teach
that.
him how to make a fist in the middle of the match.
Yep. And then Mark misses his shot and gets slapped hard, which is really funny. It's just like, and he goes down hard, and then Mox fakes him out, and he gets scared and retreats out of the ring. Mox offers another free shot to the back, but Mox moves, and Mark falls to the outside of the ring. Mox chases Mark around the ring and goes in the ring, and he catches Mark's foot, but gets poked in the eye. And then Mark gets thrown into the barricade, which falls on him, and Mox throws chairs onto there.
That looked pretty good. Like, it piled up on him looked pretty natural instead of being forced. I thought that was okay.
Yeah, it was good, and he beats Mark with his own shoe, you said?
He did. And he makes fun of the shoe first because it's a white New Balance shoe.
Uh-huh.
So I guess it's not super cool, so he beats him with his own not cool shoe.
And then Mox sits on a chair and offers a handshake, and then pokes Mark in the eye, hits a paradigm shift for the win.
Which looked pretty good.
It was
Mark
a good
the lawyer's clearly taken some moves before.
And Jon Moxley wins. Wardlow attacks at the clothesline, hits in what's called an F10, I guess.
Yes. Two of them.
Yeah, MJF comes out and ditches the walker and removes neck brace, kind of just confirming that he faked it. Obviously, it wasn't that hard to assume, but anyways. Where am I next? Ref repeatedly rings the bell to no avail, and that's always just kind of stupid to me.
Keep ringing that bell. We were always joking like, oh, I finally heard. Oh, I'll stop now. I heard the bell ring. Sorry, were you ringing that for long? Like, keep ringing it.
Oh, I hear the ring bell. It's like,
I better stop.
Yeah, it's like, what's the big deal? You're ringing a bell. It's like, it's for when the match is over. What you thinking? Then the fight will be over if you keep ringing the bell. Like,
guess you got to try.
I guess. MJF beats down Mox, hits Mox with the ring, and bites Mox's face, and he's bleeding bad.
Yes. The final few images from this were awesome after the ring shot and the bloody, and MJF just looks like he's snapped completely. But the stuff with the lawyer leading up to it wasn't good, and it's like
it was kind of entertaining.
That's not a Dynamite main event for me, though. I didn't like it. So,
That's true. It was entertaining, but not main event.
yes.
entertaining.
So not a huge fan of it. Again, the final few images there when it got really bloody and violent were cool. The rest of it was what it was, I guess.
Yeah, that's fair.
So for me, the show, it had an underwhelming main event, as I just said, but it was still really entertaining with an opener I basically loved, a fun 8-man tag, actually what turned out to be a pretty decent women's match, I thought. Made the show overall really easy to watch, as it almost always is, so I gave it a B+ overall. You?
Yeah, I would go about the same grade. It was average, I guess, but like I said, average
is
isn't
good
bad for them.
Yep.
Yeah, because AEW does consistently put on a good product. So
They do.
yeah, this is B+.
Okay.
It's good.
Beautiful. So that brings us to the end of our AEW Dynamite review, and we will transition right into our next segment, which is Off the Top of His Head. Okay, so off the top of his head, as always, Jack will demonstrate his knowledge of wrestling trivia. So this week we're going a different route, sort of. I would say he is either your favorite wrestler or one of your favorite wrestlers. So who are we talking about, you think? If you had to say your favorite wrestler.
Adam Cole.
Correct. Okay. So the topic is Adam Cole brackets mostly takeover matches, because I snuck in a couple other ones I think you might know as well. Adam Cole takeover matches.
Okay.
Okay, so
just in order?
I thought I would just, if you want,
try.
give you the event and you tell me his opponent.
Okay.
Do you want me to go backwards from 30?
No, I'll start at...
From the beginning?
I'll just do my best.
Wow. So let's see. Do you know what his first
Takeover War Games?
What year?
2017.
My God.
Dude, if it was Takeover War Games 2, then it'd be 2018.
Okay, so he did. That is correct. You're already blowing me away.
So he was teaming with O'Reilly and Fish
I didn't even put that.
Against Sanity and...
Who are? I'm not letting you off
fine.
that easy.
Eric Young,
Correct.
Alexander Wolf, and Killian Dane, and then Roderick Strong and AOP.
Yes.
Akam and Razor.
Right. That
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, I
In the
did
War
remember
Games,
Roderick Strong when they mentioned it was with them
Yeah.
briefly. And he wore the AOP gear, right?
Yeah, that was a good match, though.
See, I remember everything.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so the next pay-per-view, do you know what it was?
Aleister Black Extreme Rules match. Takeover Philadelphia.
Oh my God. At what year?
2018.
I thought I was going to have to give you the venue and the year, or the pay-per-view name and the year. Okay, so...
And then Takeover New Orleans, the 6-man ladder match.
What
right?
year? Come on.
It's the same year.
Okay, 2018 versus who?
Velveteen Dream, Lars Sullivan, Killian Dane, Ricochet, and EC3.
So did he have any other matches that day?
Oh, yeah, he did. The Dusty Classic Finals, teaming with Kyle O'Reilly versus Roderick Strong and Pete Dunne. And then, who else was it?
Oh,
dang.
there was
AOP,
You're right.
Okay.
The aforementioned AOP were in there.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we're just to speed this up. Takeover Brooklyn 4 versus...
Ricochet for the North American title.
Takeover War Games 2018 versus...
With the Undisputed Era versus Pete Dunne, Ricochet, and the War Raiders.
Correct.
War Games again.
So here's where I snuck one in. Halftime Heat.
Oh, yeah. So he was teaming with, I believe it was Ciampa and Velveteen?
I didn't get his partners. I just
No,
went
Gargano.
opponents.
Ciampa and Gargano.
Versus?
Velveteen, Ricochet, and... Who would the third person be?
Rick
I
and?
don't know. Oh, and Aleister Black.
Correct. We have
Okay.
call them Rick and Al sometimes.
Yeah.
So that was a little hint you got. Takeover New York versus?
Johnny Gargano in the 2 or 3 Falls match.
Takeover 25
Johnny
versus?
Gargano.
Evolve 10th anniversary.
Oh, yeah.
Snuck that in there.
Was it Akira Tozawa?
Oh my God, it was. I thought that was the one you weren't going to get for sure. So then we go Takeover Toronto.
Takeover Toronto 2.
Right.
And that was Johnny Gargano in like the pseudo 3 stages of hell thing. We were there, so.
Was there anything special about that one for you?
We were there.
We were there with
We
pretty
were
good
there.
seats.
Yeah.
Considering
Saw
we're
everything.
cheap and I won't pay for
yeah.
good ones. Okay, so Takeover War Games.
Takeover War Games 3, right? So
Versus?
that would have been Tommaso Ciampa.
Correct.
Dijakovic.
Correct. I didn't remember the
and
fourth of this
Keith
group.
Lee.
Yes,
And Kevin Owens.
Wow, yeah. Owens I'd forgotten.
Because he was replacing Matt Riddle. Because Matt Riddle was fighting Finn Balor, who was replacing Johnny Gargano.
Why do you remember this?
Because it was recent.
Okay, Survivor
I'm
Series versus...
Pete Dunne.
Oh, here's another one I snuck in. Worlds Collide versus...
What year?
I don't know.
Oh, 2020. Was it against Imperium?
It was.
Yeah.
Takeover
That match was good.
Takeover Portland versus
Tommaso Ciampa.
right.
And that's when Gargano turned heel.
2 more. Takeover in Your House versus
Velveteen Dream Back
and
Brawl.
Takeover 30 versus say his name.
Pat McAfee.
Yes. Wow. Okay. So I knew you would get the vast majority. I wasn't sure you'd get all of them.
You tried to trick me with Akira Tozawa.
I did. I thought that was going to be the
His
one.
name is sacred.
But anyways,
JK.
so amazing job as usual. You are an expert on Adam Cole, as I assumed.
Well, he's only had takeover matches and whatnot for the past few years, so it's fairly.
And you are a
simple.
massive fan of his, so
Yeah.
you do remember things.
That too.
So that will take us into our NXT review, and
that is correct. That's where you.
That's
take
mostly
the control.
me talking about mostly one match, I guess. So we'll see.
Oh yeah, right.
So this show starts with a recap of last week's show, and I actually liked that. It prepared me for what's coming, since sometimes I forget. We watch a lot of wrestling in this house and listen to a lot of wrestling and everything else.
Right.
So for me,
It's
a nice little reminder
keep up with.
last week keeps continuity for me, right? I'll remember everything that way. So we started with a 6-man street fight, Legado del Fantasma versus...
And this is, 6-man tag street fight, right? Or
Yep.
tornado tag.
Yes,
But,
and who else could they possibly be fighting but Breezango for the 85th time with Swerve Scott? I'm really done.
I'm ready for this to be over.
As the regular listeners know, I'm done with this combination and Breezango
and,
in general.
one thing I noted was Legado was wearing like street attire, which if they're gonna call it a street fight, I can appreciate that.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, it's a nice
Like
little touch.
it's a little different, and I wish there was a little more differentiation from a street fight, even if it just means like the weapons are set up outside the ring. There was ladder set up.
There were.
So I would just like that. I would just like some sort of definition or difference. Sorry, yeah, between this and like say an Extreme Rules match or a No Holds Barred.
That's
match.
one of my pet peeves about WWE is they have 70 names for basically the same match,
and
right?
The only difference to me between a No Holds Barred match and an Extreme Rules match, and this is only in 2K19 now, but the weapon wheel is only in Extreme Rules.
Oh, right. So it's a little different then.
But not anymore. It's in 2K20, they just permanently added weapon wheels even in a normal match. But anyways, I'm getting off topic.
So I feel like Swerve Scott needs to get away from these guys.
And get
sort of,
his pants all the way down.
He's getting annoying by association kind of thing, so I'm hoping he gets away. Anyways, fast start by Legado. We're outside the ring right away, and there's ladders and tables outside. Breeze and Swerve get thrown into the plexiglass. Mendoza and Scott are in the ring now. Nice drop kicks by Swerve into Mendoza's back, forcing him into a chair set up in the corner that I thought looked pretty nice. Breeze hits a backstabber on Wild, drops him throat first on the guardrail. We get a ladder, the classic ladder spinning spot by Fandango, right, where you have your head in it and you turn around and take everyone out. Mendoza takes a creative low blow. I think it got flung his own. Do you have details? I think his own partner hit him.
When they did the catapult, or like when Ciampa does the decapitator move.
Yes.
It was like that into Mendoza's berries.
Right. So then a huge
and I
knee.
noted earlier some table trouble for Wild.
Right.
Yeah.
He battled it too.
Yeah.
Huge knee by Scott to Escobar. Then we get a fire extinguisher brought in, which I'm not a huge fan of. I know it's a cool visual, I guess, for people. It doesn't thrill me anymore. Introduced by Fandango, used by Breeze on all 3 of the opponents. We're back from the break with Fandango has just gone through a table from the apron, right? So we get that explained to us.
It's like Wrestling Society X. Gotta have them tables.
Tables just out there. Everyone go through a table. Scott is alone now and outnumbered, but handles it well. Takes everybody out until a jumping punch and a dive to the outside by Escobar. Breeze is double teamed on the outside. Imperium show up and attack Breeze. It's all legal. Beat down on Breeze, jump off the forklift. So there's a forklift with an empty pallet there.
Yeah.
And they
like,
jump off.
how they not hear it or see it being moved, even just with your peripherals, right?
I just thought it looked really cheesy, and the heels looked dumb because they have to kind of turn in the ring huddled together and look up at
it's
it.
Another one of those big dive spots. It's like, oh, hey, guys, didn't see you there.
I don't want to know I know it's choreographed, but I don't want it to be that obvious.
It doesn't need to be blatantly obvious, right?
So I thought it looked cheesy. I've heard people say they liked it, but I thought it looked bad. So chaos outside, leaving Swerve and Escobar alone, and Swerve hits his finisher for the pin on Escobar, which actually looked pretty cool.
I forget what it's called.
I don't know what it's called either. Neither of us knew, which is surprising.
I remember what it was called, and I forgot. Like, I know what it's called, but except I forgot.
It looks cool.
Yeah.
So overall, I thought this match had some good action in it. the fire extinguisher, the forklift spot didn't help it for me, and this feud needs to end. So this is them trying to do a hot opener like AEW, and it was good, I guess.
It was.
Say it.
It was fine.
It was fine. But again, get these guys away from each other. Get the belts off Breezango and just focus on get some tag teams in this company.
Yeah, like what the hell is wrong? NXT used to be. I keep saying this, but the glory days really are gone for NXT.
It is.
It seems just far behind, and it's a shame, really.
It feels like what they say it is. They're trying to say it's an equal brand, but it's clearly not. But it's just enough like main roster to annoy me. But it's not completely like main roster like they're saying it is, right? Like it's not an equal third brand.
It's almost been corrupted by main rosterness.
It's definitely not as pure as it once was.
No.
So Balor gets dressed.
I think part of it is that TV deal.
Yes.
And just like it's too mainstream.
Getting 2 hours, getting major TV money, that sort of thing.
Just getting.
So Balor gets dressed while we're reminded of the main event. He's putting on his leather jacket or something. Tegan talks about Candice. They met on the indies and became basically like family, and that apparently a lot can happen in 6 months. The Gargano way Candice is not the one that she knows. She hopes they can fix it over a glass of wine and will do whatever it takes to fix it. I like this.
I really enjoyed this, giving context to this feud, right?
Establishes their relationship better.
Really, yeah.
She did a good job delivering it.
Because, like, you always assume it's Nox and Kai who are best friends,
yes.
But, like, this also gives it more, like, she was also really good with Candice as friends.
And it kind of feels like how actual former friends might talk. Like, they're not immediately ready to kill each other. They do want to try and work it out a little bit and sit down and talk, right? So that almost sounded like people would really talk. So I thought it was good.
You said like that big dive off the forklift kind of feels choreographed and takes it out of it, but this kind of
puts you back.
Really
like,
does put you back.
Seems like how people in this situation might talk to each other about each other.
It's not like just like, let's have a steel cage match. Yeah. Loser leaves NXT.
It may get to that point, but not right away.
Right. Yeah.
So then it's Candice LeRae versus Casey Catanzaro.
They kept saying, or Vic Joseph kept saying Catanzaro.
Yes.
And Candice LeRae had weird wings on her jacket, I guess because of the poison pixie.
Casey and Carter's entrance made me laugh, and not in a good way. I don't know. It just struck me as like really they're trying really hard to have some choreographed tandem entrance, and it just made me giggle.
And, like,
not the way they want.
They're trying to act like they're best friends when like since when?
And there's some potential for them, I think, as like a babyface team, but so I had Catanzaro does her usual acrobatic stuff before a neck breaker and a drop kick to the outside by LeRae. Casey gets a 2 count before eating a big back elbow, running elbow in the corner for 2 by LeRae. Casey gains control and punches and kicks aggressively in the corner, which I thought actually for her that looked good. She's starting to have a little bit of an aggressive demeanor. LeRae submission into a stomp for the win, which looked cool. I don't know what it was.
It was cool, yes, but it's just like the
hurt.
Whole setup is like that's not really finisher to me. It's just like
I think the actual like stomp into the mat looks cool.
It was cool. It's not bad. Like she should keep it, but she needs something else for her finisher. Even the springboard moonsault, like that's not. It's not super facey, so she could still use it if she wanted to.
Yeah, she could. So then Candice gets the mic and speaks. She wants to respond to Tegan. Seeing Kaden and Casey's friendship reminds her of theirs. And she wants to talk things out too, which isn't where I thought it was going.
There's almost something insincere about this, and I'm sure it'd be on purpose.
Of course. I actually like that little bit because it wasn't exactly what I expected. It's seems like a little too subtle for WWE, so I kind of like that. That maybe there's a chance they're going to work it out. Obviously, I mean, we think not, but at least they're not rushing it, right?
Right.
So I thought this was, in my notes, I have fine. I would have preferred LeRae to dominate more because she's clearly the one that's got a major storyline and everything right now.
Catanzaro's also.
But I think
sorry to sound like a WWE person, but she's super small.
But I think she works really hard, and they're trying to reward her. I've heard she's like really into it and really works hard to learn. So I think they're just letting her showcase sort of what she's learned a bit with someone they can trust like Candice LeRae, right? Because she's a super strong worker. Yeah,
and she's been working for a while.
The only thing that bothered me a lot was I found the crowd again was really obnoxious during her promo. It's just constant noise. Nobody stops and listens like they do in real life. Generally, the crowd will stop and listen if someone's saying something.
He's just gonna be like, "Yeah, cheer, cheer, cheer."
But it's just constant.
Right. It is kind of annoying.
I didn't enjoy it there. Rhea Ripley's tired of Robert Stonebrand and wants to settle it in a steel cage match against Martinez.
Yeah.
So this is
Jinx.
It was super short. It was okay. It was
Just
decent.
gets the challenge across.
I'm trying not to say fine. It was okay. It was decent.
It was there.
Right.
It happened.
Then we get Bronson Reed versus Timothy Thatcher.
Oh, Bronson Reed's theme is terrible. Feels like a random mashup of sounds and lyrics, and is agitating.
Okay. They've both won me over recently, and not with their themes or anything. I don't care too much about
I don't
that.
like anymore.
So
Thatcher's... Or I never did, but...
Thatcher's trying to apply a hold, and Reed just throws him off at the beginning of the match. Thatcher tries again, but he's backed into the ropes. Forearms by Reed, knee by Thatcher, collision, and Thatcher is down. They have a striking exchange, and Thatcher's down again. So a senton by Reed as Thatcher tried to work from the ground, big clothesline by Reed. Thatcher eventually gets the left arm and starts working. And I've never thought I would like this style so much. But this whole idea of, like, he needs to win by grappling, and it's just not working against Reed, right? Reed just keeps overpowering, and anything else he's trying isn't working. So I kind of like the idea. We get another striking exchange, and Thatcher's down again. A springboard-ish elbow by Reed off the ropes. Suicide dive.
Which is cool for a big man to be doing.
Suicide dive, which I thought, I'm tired of suicide dives because everybody does them. But when a guy that big does it, like when Samoa Joe or Bronson Reed, Killian Dane, that's impressive. So then Austin Theory shows up and attacks Reed and rolls him into the ring.
When the ref is checking on Thatcher.
Thatcher applies the armbar, and Bronson Reed taps out.
Yep.
And what did you think before I say what I think?
It was fine.
Really? I liked it a lot before the interference, but I'm okay with that too. Just because neither of these guys need a clean loss right now, so I know I complain about
I don't really like
clean
Bronson
finishes
Reed.
enough, but sometimes.
And I am coming to like Timothy Thatcher, but again, Reed is just. I understand that they want to push him, and I can respect that, but I just really don't have a reason to like him, and I know I don't like him, but I do want to try to like him, but I just can't.
He's just got to convince you. I do sort of like him. I don't love him yet, but I thought this match, the story was cool, that the only advantage Thatcher had was through grappling, and everything else he tried to do failed, right? Because Reed's just too big, and he's faster than he should be, and et cetera, et cetera. So it kind of made me want to see this match again, and you've got another opponent for Reed, like, waiting sort of in the wings.
But part of this was, again, no story, and also but neither are, like, super strong. And, okay, Thatcher is good, his style is good, but it also is, like, okay against a big guy. It's just like, so I wish there was a little more story.
I really like this match, so now I'm hoping that Reed will eventually beat Theory.
Not only is Reed going into the feud with Theory, but remember the Thatcher Priest encounter, right? So this kind of gets him up in the I don't know, supposed rankings that there would be, I guess.
Just and then you've got something Reed and Thatcher can come back to later, right? They can go their separate ways for a minute.
Be, right?
So I actually really like this. Was very happy with it. Normally I don't love not a clean finish in things because it happens too often, but sometimes I feel like it is the right play. Yeah, they do
it a lot, but if it does have a place sometimes.
It does. So we get Mercedes Martinez replies to Ripley and says she's all about fighting, and it's on next Tuesday. Just another brief, intense reminding us of the match and that they both dislike each other.
It's amazing how they can fit the cage in small little Full Sail.
Yeah, it should be an interesting match. Both of them are decent at least, so it should be good. So moving into our main event, right, which is half of the show, a 60-minute Ironman match.
Fatal 4-way.
Right, with Balor, Gargano, Cole, and Ciampa.
And one thing I'm going to say before we start is, so after anybody scores a fall, I'll give us a quick update on the score for everybody.
Good.
So I've got that after each fall.
My very first note is that my notes might be lacking because I was super pumped to see this, and I just kind of wanted to watch. So
do you want me to cover?
I've got a bunch, but you might want to chime in. I do have a lot more than I thought I would, but so feel free.
I know in nameplates display the accolades and dimensions of each superstar, which is cool. Just giving a big fight feel, I guess.
Yep, I was super excited for this. So Gargano basically does the sneaky heel. He just bails out of the ring right away, and Ciampa takes control of the other two left in the ring. Nice running knees to Balor and Gargano. Outside by Ciampa, looked super aggressive and intense. Barrett points out how sprinting around is not a great idea in an Ironman match, which I thought Barrett really adds to the realism of this, and he does a really good job because he's right.
He's actually really
an
good.
hour-long match, and Ciampa's just sprinting into these knees, right, and just killing people, and he's sort of saying like,
it does do a lot of damage, but it also
you
just
gotta pace yourself,
right.
So I like that he makes a few comments that just sort of make it feel more realistic, and I quite
And
appreciate
it's not like
him.
a put down on Ciampa either. It's just like you can do it, but you probably shouldn't.
I think Mauro Ranallo and Barrett together would be amazing because Barrett's just so calm and whatever, and Moro's
Is that why
so
they
excitable.
brought in Barrett? Did they fire Morrow?
No, Moro left, I think, on his own, which we'll miss. We quite enjoy him. Sorry.
I love Morrow.
Balor dominates outside and throws Ciampa back into the ring. Ciampa takes control, applies a submission. Cole throws out Ciampa for a Cole-Balor matchup in the ring. Corner spears by Balor for 2. And I appreciated a note I made, the timer only being on the screen periodically, right? Instead of constantly being there counting and showing us. I like that it was just periodically flashed up there.
And it really does kind of help to build up in the end. We'll talk about it later, but
Yep.
just kind of helps.
Barrett, as I said, he adds realism. I think he's really good. We get a nice exchange by Gargano and Cole, a nasty knee from Ciampa to Cole. All 4 finally in the ring. This is like maybe half an hour in or longer where before we get 4 men in the ring. Because remember we were talking about like, man, are they going to need 2 refs because there could be 2 pinfalls? Well, no, because there was never more than 2 people wrestling, it seemed, which I'll talk about later.
And it's just like, it's hard to get even just one pinfall because like everybody's always just there. So.
Yes, and that, sorry, I almost got to the ending. I'll save my comments on that too. So we get Cole attacks Ciampa's knee. Balor attacks Cole, sends Ciampa outside. We get a classic Tower of Doom spot. How could you not with a multi-man match?
Right. You always got to.
And we've got no falls, and we're 20 minutes in at least. 1916 to Gargano for 2. Sling Blade.
It was an inverted 1916.
Sorry. Sling Blade and shotgun drop kick by Balor. Missed coup de grace into an air raid crash by Ciampa for 2. Yeah. Back from the commercial with Balor flying over the ropes onto Cole and Gargano.
Topic on Hilo.
Shotgun. Yes, thank you. Shotgun drop kick to Ciampa in a chair. Another one to the other 2 guys.
That was funny. He just lands in the office chair.
Yes, he's just sitting in a chair taking offense. Coup de grace to Cole for the first fall at 34:50.
Yep. Our score is Balor 1, Cole 0, Ciampa 0, and Gargano 0. So Balor getting the first fall in the match.
So Balor's alone in the ring fighting off the others. There's a long chin lock by Balor to Gargano. This is really the first kind of rest I noted in this match because these guys are all
But it's not like where it's
fit.
overdone. It's like you can't blame them.
These guys are an hour-long
match. And you said this was at like, what, 34?
Somewhere around there, yeah.
Right?
Like
so
more
you're
than
almost half done.
Ciampa in and Balor stomps both repeatedly. We're back from the commercial with Ciampa standing tall in the ring. I didn't love the number of commercial breaks, but there's nothing they can do about that. That's not their fault. Outside to attack Cole. Almost catapults him underneath the ring with that move.
The decapitator.
Right. Ciampa hits the Widow's Bell and a fairy tale ending, but Johnny steals the pin for second fall, which I like.
So our score is Balor 1, Gargano 1, and Cole and Ciampa are both at 0. And one thing I might add is, while we do complain about the TV, NXT, and the 2 hours, I feel like if NXT didn't have 2 hours, this would have been the whole show, and that might not be best for TV,
and a half-hour Iron match wouldn't be that
impressive.
I
do think commercial breaks bring this match down.
For sure they do. But they can't help
I
that.
think best of both worlds would have been NXT still on the network, 2 hours, no commercials, but then this is still... And this would be like maybe then quite literally half the show, because this is like, with commercial breaks, it's probably maybe more than half of the show.
And if sometimes they'll really want, like if they really want to, they'll find some way to be like, and we'll bring you the final hour commercial free. Like I know wrestling's done that in the past, so... I don't know if you have to front load more commercials in the first hour, but anyways, it's not their fault, I guess. Yep. So kick and a last shot to Ciampa for 2. Yeah. Huge clothesline by Ciampa. Super kicks and a Panama.
I misspelled Cole when he said Cole went for it again and hit a lariat, so I did like Cole.
Super kicks and a Panama Sunrise to Gargano for the 3rd fall.
Yep. So we got Balor 1, Gargano 1, Cole 1, and Ciampa still at 0. So Barrett does a nice job of just kind of like saying Ciampa should be kind of a little worried now, just like kind of being behind, I guess, right?
Exactly. Like he's the only one left to get one.
Barrett just doing a really nice job on commentary.
I really liked him. Knee by Ciampa to Gargano for 2. Double Willow's Bell by Ciampa to Gargano and Cole. So he's got Gargano hanging from the ropes after taking that. Looked amazing. Remember, he just sort of hung upside down looking like he was just dead and happened to be hanging there. Looked great.
And then fairy tale ending on Cole.
Yep. Fairy tale ending to Cole for the pin, and we're now at...
All 4 superstars have 1 fall, so Balor 1, Cole 1, Gargano 1, and Ciampa 1.
Which makes sense. In a multi-man Ironman match, there's going to be a lot of like similar scores, you would think, right? Like it's hard for one person to dominate.
Right.
So there's a break as they're all finally sort of standing in the ring looking at each other, and this is only with about 40 minutes left. So this is really the only long break anyone takes, and it kind of makes sense. They're just exhausted, and they're just kind of staring at each other, wondering what's going to happen next. So they finally pair off with 2 inside and 2 outside. We get the same moves by each man in each pairing. Basically, I didn't want to get into too many details, and everybody is down.
I did all 4 superstars trade strikes in the ring, and then Balor and Ciampa remain, Cole and Gargano on the outside. Right. But it was just they're kind of tired, but they still kind of got to fight, right?
Yep. Ciampa gains control of Balor in the ring. We get a running knee to the corner by Ciampa to Balor, and then another one.
Yep.
Ciampa throws Cole and Gargano into the plexiglass, and then Barrett had a great line here where fatigue makes cowards of us all. Like when you're just so tired, you sort of opt out of doing things, right? So you're normally would be brave, but you're just exhausted. I thought that was a cool line.
You just kind of got to take maybe the easy way out, maybe not the smartest.
When you're tired. Cole and Ciampa are in the ring. Cole kicks Ciampa's knee. Cole figure 4 to Ciampa
he reversed the avalanche air raid crash attempt.
Right. So Balor in control after the commercial, and he's chopping everybody. Ciampa's knee gives out in an Irish whip, and Balor starts attacking it. Single leg crab by Balor to Ciampa and that bad knee. Sling blade shotgun dropkick to Ciampa. Balor climbs the ropes, but Gargano slows him down just enough so he misses the coup de grace and gets 2 super kicks instead. Suicide dive by Gargano to Ciampa and then Cole, which was interesting. He's just running around. He tries it on Balor, but gets caught. Some reversals and eventually hits a tornado DDT. Gargano escaped to Cole after the last commercial break, I'm thinking. Ciampa drags both out to the floor. Ciampa suplexes Cole on the floor, runs Balor into the glass, chops Gargano down, and hits a catapult to the underside of the ring.
Decapitator.
Like he did to Atlas last week. Cole saves the pin, then Balor. Under 2 minutes, and Ciampa takes out the rest and focuses on Gargano, who rolls him up for 2. Air raid crash from the second rope to Gargano, but Balor immediately hits Ciampa with the coup de grace for 2 and leads in falls for the first 3. I'm guessing it leads in falls. Yes.
And so our score is Balor 2, Cole 1,
with almost
Gargano
no time.
1, and Ciampa 1. But I'd like to say this one, thanks, because it was good. Cole hits a last shot and scores a fall in the final 3 seconds. So we're tied, and Balor and Cole have 2 each, and Gargano and Ciampa 1 each. So it's a tie between Balor and Cole.
Regal comes out and tells us that next week they'll face one-on-one for the title. Fall to a finish.
This is such a good ending, actually. I just love like the pandemonium, just like, and it's like the last few seconds up, and then you just see Cole hitting. I'm just like,
So you're okay with it in a tie?
Yeah, these are the 2 guys I wanted to win. So this is the best case scenario for me. I did get spoiled, but even then, I didn't know it ended like this.
So I'm mixed on this match. So here are my feelings on this match.
Okay.
There's amazing action at time, no doubt about it. I found it it felt like it wasn't a fatal 4-way for the first half hour. It felt like it was just 2 guys in the ring. Other 2 guys aren't even doing anything.
Fair.
Then 2 other guys, and then 2 other guys, and then 2 other guys. So it was bothering me more until you think about it. Like, that might be what I do in a fatal 4-way. If I don't have to fight a guy in the ring, I can just lurk outside and be ready to break up a fall, right? So then it started to bother me less because it kind of makes sense. But it really, there was almost never all 4 guys engaged in anything. It felt like.
But when there was, it just felt like, it felt cool.
And then the ending, I still don't know how I feel about them making me watch a match for an hour and not giving me a winner. I know a lot of people on the internets are very upset about like that you wasted my time for an hour and we don't get a result, right?
So it was a good match, and then you get another good match next week.
I think bottom line, it was a pretty excellent match. I'm not saying it's a
ending was so good.
I was hoping it was going to be like a match of the year contender for me, which it won't be, I don't think. But
I think again it was hindered by TV and commercials,
but it was really good. Without a doubt.
I loved the ending.
And considering they had to throw it together because of a major injury to a star, like, I don't know. I enjoyed it.
Right. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. Yeah. Considering this is thrown together, this is fantastic.
So a very good
And-
match for sure, but I wasn't blown away, and I was hoping for a match of the year.
The ending, not only was it cool because I love Cole, but I just feel like it was like a bit of surprise there. It's just like, and somehow he managed to get that pinfall in the last few seconds, and it
Yep.
was just like.
And honestly, they're
Desperation there.
building something for the next Super Tuesday show. We've got a cool
Right?
main event for that, right? Which we'll
That's
look
what I'm
forward
saying.
to.
Like, people could be mad about not getting a finish.
They are. They
Yeah,
are.
and that's fair. That's all and good. But I think you should also understand you're getting another good. You're probably gonna get another nice main event next week. So.
And if this were a pay-per-view, then maybe, right? If I pay money to see it and they give me a no finish, but it's on free TV. So
Right.
how mad am I going to be?
Right.
It was 4 awesome wrestlers wrestling for an hour. I wasn't
Right.
bored. It was fun. So I'll get over
Agreed.
any problems
Yep.
I had. So overall, I gave this
I would
show...
give this,
Yeah, what do you say? Go first this time.
ooh, let me think.
So I don't influence you, because I've got mine written down.
I'm not sure. I'd have to go maybe just short of an A-, but B+.
Nice. So you're in the B+. It's similar to AEW for you. I had it...
But I think it was maybe slightly better just because, yeah, there wasn't much before this, but when it's a 2-hour show and you have an hour-long match, you can't blame them.
So you're
Well, it's
maybe
a good
considering
hour-long
NXT was better for you this week.
Maybe, actually. Yeah,
That's
just
interesting.
just because there was less nonsense and
Yep.
just a really good match.
I thought it was close, so I gave AEW a B-, a B+, and I gave NXT a B. I thought it was really close this
Okay.
week, right?
That's fair.
I'm glad. So this is telling you we're not just AEW marks, right? We're trying to be objective. If we like something better, we're
Right.
going to tell you
And-
we like it better.
Again, I just said it, but less nonsense really did help, and it was just like good action. Yes, it took up half of the show, but was it bad? No, it was not.
And in a perfect world, we would love all wrestling we watch, right? Like there's nothing better. I would love nothing better than to be able to say everything was an A+, right?
Hell,
we're not looking to
I'd
have
love-
problems.
I'd like to enjoy SmackDown, but I don't.
So any other thoughts on NXT before we move on?
I'm just looking forward to
Super Tuesday?
Super Tuesday too. And again, I just think kind of smart booking here just to kind of set something up for this next special.
Yep.
And they're just testing the waters with this Tuesday NXT, right?
Yes.
So this is a good way just to ensure that you have something for people to
Yes.
want to
you
watch
can
next
promote
week. So
this.
it is kind of smart on
Yep.
their part, and I did enjoy the ending, and just the overall match was really good.
Yep. I still think Balor will win, but who
And-
knows? Could be wrong.
There wasn't much eventful stuff on the rest of the show, but if you look back, a lot of it set up stuff, right? Like,
Yes.
even
There was a
just-
point to everything.
Even just simply Rhea Ripley challenging Martinez to a cage match, but like you had Knox talking about her friendship with Candice,
we
trying
liked.
to patch things up, and then Candice LeRae's match piggybacking off of that, and even something as simple as that street fight possibly wrapping up the feud or setting the stage for a cruiserweight title rematch.
There was
everything
nothing
else
bad,
served a
right?
purpose.
Yep. And
That wasn't the
being
Iron
able to
match.
say nothing's bad is nice because I'm going to talk about
because
Impact
NXT
shortly.
hasn't been
So a show where I can say
and
nothing
NXT
was
has
bad is
been a
great.
bit of a pain lately, I'm willing to admit, but this didn't feel like a pain
Good.
to me. It was actually like this was good.
awesome.
So it does really feel good to like kind of almost thoroughly enjoy NXT again.
It's
Been so long.
It used to be the only thing I really was excited to watch.
But-
Even before I could get you into it, right? Like it was, and takeovers were like sacred for me. I was close to watching
And
them
now
live,
we get stuff like
and I watch nothing live. Like
no.
I'm the biggest NBA fan you'll meet, and I will not watch games live because I'll just record for 40 minutes and skip commercials that way, and I don't get
Right.
spoiled. I don't check my phone or anything.
Right.
So
But yeah, this was just it felt good to really truly enjoy
Yeah.
NXT again.
I'm glad to hear you give it anything in the A range is great because that's
Right.
what we need. That's what we're
Mhm.
hoping for.
Yeah, so this was a good show and just a good Iron Man match, and they really made the best of this situation
They
with
did.
the NXT title.
You ready to transition into any other wrestling business?
I don't have anything for it, but I know you do.
I do, so I'll go quickly because I'm going to do two things. So as always, I'm still taking a bullet for all of you fans and my son as well and watching Impact Wrestling. God, I want it to be good. So we get repackaged Sami Callihan. He's going with the hacker gimmick again. We
Solomon
talked about
Crow.
last week. Yes. Versus RVD to start. Amazing. Like,
Sucker.
So the story they're telling us is that maybe time has caught up with RVD, and he lost a step, right? So
I'll say.
the action is outside to start. Forbes is like, I can't tell you how many times she distracts people in this, like half a dozen to a dozen times. One time she accidentally distracts RVD because she's up on the apron and wants a kiss or something, and at one point Sammy takes control because of that. So I'm really hoping it teases a split and that she's just gone eventually. I keep looking for ways that, like,
I think they're
she's
actually
gone.
married or something, but obviously on TV.
Yes.
Yeah.
Forbes cheats for RVD so many times, I don't even want to list them all. Rain points out that many of Forbes' distraction attempts are unsuccessful. So I'm like, is she sort of leading us into this? Maybe
It's
they're
like
going to split?
the way they split Lana and Lashley.
As long as Katie Forbes is gone. We don't need her. Anyways.
Now that you're just saying that, like, how much you want to go, it really does feel like, just from what I'm hearing, Lana and Lashley, I guess, right?
Could be, yeah.
Just like the marriage
magnified
thing,
how
like...
annoying it is. So Callahan wins a fairly boring match, and yes, I can confirm RVD has lost a step. So there's a post-match beatdown of Callahan by both Katie Forbes and RVD, and then we get she holds a chair over his face, and we get a sliding drop kick. And so I put, so this continues, ?
I guess so. Sammy Callahan's fine when he has a good gimmick and a good opponent. I don't think he really had neither. I don't think he had either.
RVD still can wrestle. He's lost a step, but there's just so much of Katie Forbes. It's really not so much RVD.
I do really
anymore.
enjoy it just from when we were watching Impact and when we were there.
Yeah.
Him as the psycho OVE leader. I just really
Sammy, yeah.
enjoyed that and felt like he was really in his element. And this hacker thing is fine.
He plays a despicable heel like almost nobody can.
That's what I'm saying.
So
he was just
disgusting.
like remember when he's talking,
awful.
he's just like spitting so much. You just see the saliva on his face. But yeah, I just feel like he was really in his element in that gimmick, and this gimmick does not feel that to me.
I'm hoping they can build it to something, because the hacker gimmick's a cool idea. I don't know. We'll see. I don't trust them to execute it. I don't trust them to execute it well, but speaking of OVE, Reno Scum, who I confused.
What?
We had 1 week of the podcast where I honestly was talking about Reno Scum. Like,
I know, and then I was confused. I was like, wait, OVE's still together?
So Reno Scum wants more money from Hernandez to beat up Rhino. They want the whole stack of cash, not just some of it. So Rhino agrees if they can... Hernandez agrees.
Oh my, what is wrong with you?
If they can take out Rhino for good. And I'm not sure why, but Fall Ball was there as well, listening, so I don't know.
And why does Hernandez hate Rhino so much? Like,
I don't know.
Exactly.
I think that was from just before I started watching, I'm going to assume. So we get videos with Taya and Rosemary and Johnny Bravo, summarize secrets, deception, etc. They're going to fight. So Wrestle House 1. There is a super highlight coming up for you.
Okay.
Well, for everyone. For me, especially because I have to watch it. So Wrestle House 1, Crazy Steve got to dress Swinger right after their match last week. That was the match stipulation, and Swinger won't come out and show how he's been dressed. He finally does, and he's dressed like Crazy Steve.
Does he have face paint?
Yeah, and they make fun of him.
Nice.
Yeah, it was
I like
nothing.
face paint,
So Reno Scum versus Rhino with no tag partner. Sorry, I can't be bothered to learn names. The smaller Scum eventually takes off his belt, but is hit by the cameraman with Heath's finisher. And guess what? Rhino wins, and there's a Heath reveal. He was hiding.
I saw this, and I didn't care for it.
Disguised as a cameraman. This has been done to death, right? I did like that they sort of used the footage from his camera that he dropped. That was kind of interesting.
That was cool, and that was the only part I liked.
But yes, this
I saw it on Instagram.
He's hiding as a cameraman. Been done, right?
Whoop-de-doo-dah.
So another EC3 promo threatening to send the title back to Moose piece by piece if he doesn't get what he wants because he's stolen the title, right?
Yep.
So Moose is angry and
Gotta destroy it to move on with his life.
Somehow, which again they haven't made that connection strong enough for me. But Moose is angry at a random guy tells him EC3 is on the other side of the building. So now we're gonna get this like show long Moose is backstage running around looking for him. Okay, but then the random guy, and I don't know I missed something. He like reveals his T-shirt. I guess I'm supposed to recognize whose shirt it is. I didn't.
Was it the 3 lines?
And then there was ominous music playing. I don't remember.
Because if it's the 3 lines, that's like EC3's.
Oh, I didn't get it.
Sure, maybe. So maybe that's it. I didn't see it.
The Good Brothers are entertaining the guys backstage with stories while they're drinking beer. The Rascals interrupt. They want to get ready for the match. The Good Brothers want to offer advice since they already beat Fulton and Austin, but the Rascals don't want their advice and leave. Wrestle House.
Okay.
Wrestle House 2. Sigh.
I sigh and I haven't
Audible
watched
sigh.
it.
Bravo will ref the Taya Rosemary match and is getting advice from people. Larry is in a bad mood since getting rejected by Rosemary. The Deaners still think he took their beer. The truce is over and they have a match in the house. So Deaners versus Ace and Larry. I forget their tag team name. It's not
XXXL.
you're
they're
right.
big.
Triple XL. So they have a match in the house. They're playing ping pong at one point, and Deaners choking on the ping pong ball. The one thing was kind of funny was I think it was one of the Triple XL hops in the freight elevator to use it. I think AC. So he gets in the elevator to escape, and Tommy Dreamer subtly points out that it has a weight limit. But the funny part is it was slower than the stairs. So he takes the freight elevator to escape, but then the Deaners are already waiting because the stairs were faster. One of the Deaners is on a bike and bikes into a car. They end up on the floor of one of the bedrooms, and there's a beer bottle under Larry's bed. And this fires Cody up, and he DDTs Larry.
He took the beer or whatever.
Right, so he DDTs Larry on the floor, and Larry becomes Lawrence. So then he's using cologne and powder in people's eyes. Susie starts glitching with a crazy voice and a bloody hand as she wins the match somehow. Question mark.
She's not in the match.
I don't know. Strange comedy
God.
match with only a couple
Brain
of amusing
hurt.
parts, but they're
Confusion.
teasing Su Yung, maybe. I don't know.
Brain
that
hurt.
part was interesting.
Confusion.
So out of Wrestle House, Ace and Fulton versus the Rascals, which in this case is Dez and Wentz. Fulton looks humongous next to
Where's
Dez.
Trace? He's
He's part of it, just not in this match.
I know, but
Decent match with the Rascals having to take Fulton out with a series of dives outside so they could pin Austin. It was basically like Fulton was super dominant. They had to eliminate him so they could pin Austin, which seems backwards because Austin is an excellent wrestler.
It's kind of weird that Austin was like the dominant X Division champion. Now he's in a tag team.
Yeah, with Fulton, who's apparently much
Do you
tougher.
want to compare Dakota Kai and Gonzalez to Michaels and Diesel? But I think you could also make a similar comparison for Austin Fulton, 'cause especially with Austin being like the agile former mid-card champion,
awesome.
I guess. Right. Kind of like HBK back in the day, right? So.
Yes. The Machine Guns come out, and they offer a title shot to the Rascals, who accept before being attacked from behind by Austin and Fulton.
I'm going to say it again, but Alex Shelley has cool hair.
Mm-hmm. So Peraza's backstage and is unhappy because she's planning I didn't mention it, there's a black tie affair that she's hosting, right? So
black tie affair?
So meaning like you should be wearing gowns and tuxedos. The implication when they say black tie means super formal. That's all it means.
What's this for?
To celebrate her being amazing, I guess.
Okay. Fair.
So she tries to recruit Kimberly to support her at the event because she's not sure people will be on board for it.
Kimberly the Power Ranger?
No. Then we get TJP and Rohit backstage. TJP wants a shot at the X Division title. Bay has a rematch first, but TJP can go talk to Bay about jumping the line, is what Rohit tells him. So I would say go look up this promo because it's super cringy. TJP is always really bad on the mic, and he decides that he's going to do a whole big long rhyming part to it that I didn't transcribe and don't want to, but it was interesting.
All right, I'll take a look.
So he sounds really bad, and the rhyming makes it worse. And Rohit sounds actually comfortable on the mic and did a pretty good job. I think he's an underrated talent for them. Wrestle House 2.
Nice.
Okay. So Ty and Rosemary with
Sigh.
Bravo as the ref. Rosemary talks trash about Slamtown at some point. Short match. Taya wins clean. Bravo and Rosemary talk in the ring after, and Rosemary is sad until Johnny Bravo proposes. He can stay Taya's manager, but can marry Rosemary. Groan. Then what was this match for?
Who cares?
The match was for Johnny Bravo. Taya says it's okay with her, so there was no point to this whole angle, and they could have just had a conversation instead. Is there going to be a Wrestle House wedding? Please God, no. Thankfully, Taya,
nice answer,
because I guess she's in charge of this whole experiment, says they can all leave and go back to the Impact Zone, and thankfully this experiment is over. And then because it feels like they just pulled the plug without really planning for it, Crazy Steve quickly admits to stealing the Deaner's beer. So we have to resolve that conflict, and it's like they pulled the plug on this experiment, so wrap up the loose ends and let's get out of here. And I agree.
Now I don't have to look at the bad clips
Hopefully.
And also listen to you groan.
So there's still a tie-in coming from the Wrestle House. So the black tie affair now. Kimberly's on the mic while other wrestlers surround the ring. Lee introduces the greatest technical women's wrestler and the TNA Knockouts champion, Deonna Purrazzo. Purrazzo comes out dressed in a gown and addresses the crowd. She heels on all the other wrestlers and proposes a toast to herself for being Knockouts champion. She has painted a masterpiece since arriving and has proven she's the best by beating Jordan Grace twice, and no one will ruin her night. Of course they won't. Grace enters with a mic. She apologizes for being underdressed, as she's just wearing jeans and a normal top, and she's there to congratulate Deonna for taking her to the limit. Enjoy the rain because it won't last. Then we get a surprise appearance. Did you hear about this?
No.
Super exciting. Tennille Dashwood.
Oh, right. Yes, I did.
Interrupts.
Nice.
And she's back in Impact Wrestling. She
Emma.
acts like everyone gathered for her return, and it's about her every day. So she's coming for the title, and Purrazzo has never beaten her. Grace cuts in and says that how can she beat Dashwood when she never shows up for work, which I thought was the best line of the segment, right?
What?
Like, how could she beat you? You're never here, right?
Oh.
Which I thought was good. We get this sort of warp effect, and all of Wrestle House appear in the ring now. So there's an awkward interaction with Lee, Ray, Purrazzo, and Susie. No one really comfortable on the mic in this segment. They're trying to showcase the Knockouts division, so I'm okay with it because they have some talent there. Wrestle House seemed to end really suddenly, like they just pulled the plug on it, and they sensing
It's
the
like
crowd.
they finally realized it sucked.
Could be, or there is it. I was wondering if it's anticipation of crowds coming back, maybe.
Or like some sort of...
Hope as long as it's gone, we're good. So Brian Myers is interviewed. Moose interrupts, and Myers finds the interruption unprofessional because he's the most professional wrestler or whatever.
God.
Main event time. I'll go quickly. Eric Young versus Eddie Edwards in an open challenge for the Impact Championship that they announced would happen last week. So Young now enters wearing like a hockey mask sort of thing, I guess, like a Jason sort of thing.
Oh, okay.
And I just have that Eddie Edwards feels like a placeholder as a champion to me. It's like, we'll put him in there until we figure out who to push next sort of thing.
Okay, I think because we just watched NXT, right? So it's like the whole Tessa thing was kind of just like sort of like the cross injury where it was like unplanned for,
Yes.
right? So then they did like a fatal 4-way, which turned into a fatal 5-way just to crown a new champion. But I think NXT, this is a thing WWE did much better. First of all, they did something that's never been done before, which was the 4-way Ironman match.
Yep.
And then they even put a swerve at the end too, which was the tie finish. So I think
they tried a little harder to change plans when they were forced to, right? Not
yeah,
through
and
their
they
own
really
choice.
just made it feel like it just added to the prestige of the NXT title, I guess. Just like that, these 4 guys were just leaving it all on the line there, and they were willing to go into like an Ironman match for like an hour against 3 of the other best guys, and like it just felt much more just planned out, just felt more important, I guess.
And I feel like they just went with Eddie because he's a solid worker. He gets along
And
with
one of
everybody.
their
I think
veterans.
he's dedicated to Impact, so it just feels like
he's been there forever.
Feels like every match of his is kind of the same. I don't really see anything spectacular. He's a solid wrestler for sure. So
he's not bad. It's just probably,
and
I
to
guess,
be
for
fair,
you not entertaining.
in their defense, the completely empty arena hurts, right? It makes everything a little bit worse than it really is. So neckbreaker on the apron by Young looked good. I think Young's facial expressions are awesome.
I like his voice when he's shouting. It just like it has some sort of weird noise that really just like it comes across that psycho gimmick he's going for. He just sounds
well.
cool.
His chest is bleeding from some chops he took early on.
That's interesting.
3 neck breakers in like the first 5 minutes by Young. He's working on his neck, apparently, on Edwards' neck.
Yep.
Get a blue thunder bomb by Edwards to change the momentum for a little bit. Backpack stunner by Edwards looked good. Young grabs the belt, ref takes it away, and as the ref turns his back to go put the belt away, Young uses his hockey mask to hit Edwards, then a pile driver for the win. Pretty good match.
Good for Young.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I'm glad Edwards has lost the belt. Young attacks Edwards.
You can tell that he was a placeholder because he only held it for a few weeks, and it was just a bunch of filler open challenges.
It was. And they were like opening the show and stuff with some of them, right? So Young attacks Edwards' knee after, and they mention Rich Swann for the 3rd time. So I'm doubting Rich Swann's retirement is going to stick, right?
No.
I wonder if it's part of Eric Young's plan somehow because he's trying to act like he's a mastermind right now. So we'll see. They put up the graphics like the show was over. Like NXT used to do back in the old days. They'd put it up, and then there was always...
They did that takeover,
so
and
cool.
That's why the Ciampa heel turn was like so shocking as well.
And as a person who fast forwards everything and records everything, they trained me, right? Like you can't just stop when the logo comes up because there was always cool stuff happening.
I do remember that. Good times.
So they put the graphics up like the show was over, but then we see Moose entering a room, And it turns out that in this room, it's like EC3 is like a giant stalker. He's got the classic like board with all the push pins and the thread all over the place, right?
Okay, one of those. All right.
And a knife is stuck in at one. I think it's at the location of their next major pay-per-view or whatever. So Moose is angry and destroys the board. So overall, another mediocre show. Like I would say maybe, I don't know. You've got Russell House is done, which is a plus. The main event was pretty good. Dashwood returning is something, I guess. I don't really care either way.
It's something.
The Moose EC3 angle's progressing, but there's something missing there. They haven't done a good job to me of explaining why ECW is so obsessed with this, especially if Moose
EC3.
is still a heel. Sorry, what did I call him?
ECW.
Every time. Sorry. ECW and AEW. I just can't say it somehow. So I said a C-, and then I bumped it to a C because Russell House is over. So I gave them a bonus mark for that. All right. So
nice.
the only other thing I wanted to do was maybe a quick all-out predictions for us.
Okay.
Because that is happening tonight. We will hopefully catch it tonight, if not tomorrow. And we'll talk about it on our next show probably, right? So
yeah,
we'll start from the bottom. Britt Baker versus Big Swole, tooth and nail match.
Let's see. I think I don't know. I feel like it could go either way. I want Britt Baker, and I just feel like it would help progress her character. So I'm gonna go with Britt Baker, but there's a slight chance.
I'm gonna take Swole because my fear is if Baker wins, then it's gonna prolong this feud, and I am selfishly kind of want it to end. So I want Swole to win it for closure, and we can move on.
Okay.
Young Bucks, Jurassic Express.
The Bucks, because they're in a better spot right now.
Agreed.
I think they need the win. Just even if this is a filler match, just keep them in the good books.
And I think you're going to see more of this jerky, arrogant behavior out of them probably against a very face team.
Yep. So, and I think Jurassic Express is good, and I don't think they'll be too hindered by this loss. So.
No, I agree. They can take a loss, right? Yep. Hardy versus Guevara in a Broken Rules match, whatever that means. Probably Extreme Rules, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Let's see. I think your prediction was fairly good.
So Sammy wins, Hardy loses, and comes back as not Hardy. I'll say that too.
All right. Same.
I think
broken-ish Matt Hardy or something thing.
I think we're going to agree on this one. Dark Order versus a random mishmash of others.
Dark Order, I'd say.
Yeah. So it was Cardona, Sky, and Natural Nightmares.
With the role they've been on lately, Lee winning the title, and then the aftermath of that.
Right, because this is Lee, Uno, Grayson, Cabana. That's right.
I think.
So I would be surprised if the Dark Order don't win that.
Right.
This one I don't really know because I don't even know who all the entrants are, but I'll still make a prediction. The 21-man Casino Battle Royal.
21 now, huh?
Because that's a blackjack score, right? It's all casino-based stuff.
Oh yeah.
I will take. Right. Who do you go ahead?
Just because I don't care, I'm gonna go Pentagon because I love Pentagon.
I'm gonna take Brian Cage. I just think they might start building him as a monster again. We'll see.
I don't actually think he'll win, but I don't know everybody, so I'm just gonna pick Pentagon because I like him.
Somebody I know is in it, right? That's what I'm
picking Pentagon because he's awesome.
Jericho Cassidy in a Mimosa Mayhem match. So I thought one way, and then I listened to something, not one of the major podcasts. There's a few I refuse to listen to before we do ours. But I did listen to one, and actually whoever it was, his idea made sense. You want to know what he said?
Sure.
He said, picture the final image. Do you think you're going to see Orange Cassidy splashing around in Nevada stuff or Jericho splashing around in Nevada stuff?
True.
As your goal,
so
right?
Yeah, then Cassidy.
And that convinced me to. You think Cassidy? See, I think it'll be Jericho overacting and like making it amazing. Because what's Cassidy gonna do? He's just gonna sit in it and not care.
No, I mean Cassidy winning.
Oh, sorry, yeah. So I agree because you can already picture it, right? Like Jericho just furious that he's in this and thrashing around. So I think that's the image they're gonna leave us with. So I'll take.
That's actually super clever. It's just like
agree.
And not telling you anything either. It's just like leaving up to the imagination.
And that's why I'm not taking it as credit as my own idea, although I can't remember whose idea it was, but somebody else's idea. So I like that, and I'll take Cassidy as well.
Yeah.
So women's championship, Shida or Thunder Rosa?
Shida, because Thunder Rosa I don't even think is a part of their official roster.
Seems pretty obvious it's going to be Shida. I'll be surprised if it's not. Same reason, she's a contracted employee and not working for another competing company.
And Thunder Rosa's literally NWA's champion, so...
Tag team championship. Omega Page versus FTR.
I'm gonna say, for the better of the tag team division, FTR.
I agree. I think it is FTR.
And
I think it's
then
time we get the build to the Bucks.
Yep.
And that's what we want.
We'll be closer there, because we had the segment in AEW saying they're a step closer to the tag titles.
Right.
And if they win the tag titles, we're a step closer to that Holy Grail grudge match.
So we seem to be agreeing on a lot here.
Yeah.
And the World Championship, Mox or MJF?
See, this is one I've been.
This one's hard,
on.
honestly. It could. There's arguments for both.
I think Moxley has had a pretty good reign. I don't know. I don't think he'll be too hindered by the loss. MJF's been undefeated and has had exceptional character work, like been really good. So I'm gonna go with
amazing.
MJF.
I'm torn as well. I will, just so we're not agreeing on everything, I'll take Moxley.
Yep, that's fair. I can see it going either
MJF's
ways, but I think
ascension.
MJF would be hurt more by a loss.
Well, in MJ, it's true, and I think MJF as champion, it's always more fun when a babyface is chasing a heel, I find, right?
I remember you saying Ambrose is always better.
And I don't know
chasing
who
the title.
will be next to chase for the title, but anyways, at some point,
but I'm gonna go with MJF.
some point we revisit Jungle Boy MJF because their matches.
I don't want to bet against my boy, but I kind of got to.
Okay, so I'll take Mox. You got MJF on that one.
Yep. Oh,
right.
Wasn't there a match on the buy-in?
Which is the Private Party
versus Silver and Reynolds.
I'll take
Private Party, I guess.
I'll take Silver and Reynolds because I like them and I'm hoping that they keep getting a push.
I do want them to
And
win,
we'll
but
see. I doubt it too, but I'll take them just for the sake of non-agreement, just to be
for
contrary.
the sake of non-agreement.
All right, so that will bring us to our final section, which is where Jack will talk about the world of wrestling action figures in Figuring It Out with Jack. Go ahead, buddy. Coffee time for me.
All right, so a little while ago, Ringside teased a new mystery Ringside exclusive pre-order going up, and then the next day it was revealed to be it was a first timer, and it's Walter.
Hey,
coming
Volta.
with this coat and the UK title. I think this is a great choice. I think Walter's been a very sought after
And
wrestler
I
to
love
get a
the
figure.
unique body types in
Right.
the figures too.
Yeah, he does kind of have one a bit.
Good.
And it's just always good when someone new has an exclusive, because then it's just really cashing in on that. People are going to really want him.
Yep.
Right? So,
Oh yeah.
really, really clever by Ringside and Mattel or whatever. And just good for him. And the face scan looks incredible.
Nice.
Like, looks exactly like
So
him.
not that I'm part of this segment, but I heard the AEW figures sold out super fast and people are already selling them for like a giant markup online.
Yeah, especially if you're going to find the Chase, Cody, or Jericho. Those are going to be worth a fortune.
Like I heard people are already charging like double, triple for.
Like if I find one of those, the Cody or Jericho, I'm not opening that. I'm not one to not open a
You
figure,
are not one to
but
not open figures.
I think that those could really be worth something, especially the Cody's out of 500.
If we ever see them in Canada, get them up here, AEW. Let's go.
Yeah. All right, and then we've got Super 7 revealed their ultimate figures of Brian Myers and Matt Cardona. Super 7 are the people behind the New Japan figures.
All right.
And so these do really follow the similar style to those
Would they
figures.
like why would they choose?
I don't know.
Did Zack Ryder or Myers and whatever did they pay to have these made?
I don't know. But
anyways,
so
sorry.
both of these figures will come with 3 interchangeable head scans, or 4, if you include the one on the figure. So
Yes, if you're not a figure
hands.
person, they've now added to like multiple heads,
But
multiple
like these
hands.
Super 7 figures are like, they're near $50, but you really do get a lot in these figures.
Cool.
And they have similar articulation to WWE's Ultimate Edition figures. And Cardone, or I'm looking at Myers, sorry, right now. His has dog tags, his entrance mask from Impact, and Mike, a Major Wrestling Podcast. Mike,
Oh right, that's their figure.
Yep, and a mini version of the figures, because I guess like since they're in figure people, so it'd be like they're holding their own figure, but their figure's holding the figure.
Whoa,
I guess
that's deep. My brain just exploded.
And then Cardona's has his entrance jacket, some money thingies, dog tags, hands, and then the interchangeable heads, and then the mic and the minifigure, which is cool. So these do look pretty cool. I don't know if I'll buy them right away, but maybe they're ever cheaper. I think these look really cool, especially for like a.
And you like accessories, different
And I
things.
just like that it's just like a. You get a lot here, so it's just like maybe then you don't have to buy another figure for them.
Yeah.
I guess like, it's just like they're really nice. And I believe Cardona's is like his AEW attire. I guess it would have to be.
Yes, probably.
But hold on. I'm
Anything
just gonna
else?
So then next I have they revealed the pictures for the actual figures in packaging and for the basic series 112 and 113. So I'll cover basic series 112 first. So first we've got Seth Rollins, who's wearing his Royal Rumble 2020 attire, which is the black and silver Monday Night Messiah attire. Finally got the gloves. So that it looks really nice, and I wish this would have been Elite, because then I would totally buy it. But the face scan is that new one that's really good, but I've got my Elite Seth Rollins here. You'll know what it looks like, but it's got a bit of a bushier beard. Yep. I think it looks more like him right now. This head scan looks like him like last year, right?
Right.
So which is why when I got that Elite of his Royal Rumble 2019 attire, it looks perfect, right? But so yeah, he's wearing his Royal Rumble attire. Adam Cole is wearing an attire with it's got black logos and yellow outline. I don't know the exact date for this.
Yep.
Because the guy who posted it, he does a lot of the attires and tells you what date it is, but he doesn't have that up yet. Braun Strowman's wearing his WrestleMania 35 attire, and it's identical to his Elite 76 figure. It's just in basic form, so it's the shirtless one.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And I believe that's a new body mold, and it looks really good, actually. You see it? Yeah. It's a new mold. It looks really good. Usual. So that's nice. And then, let's see, what's next in my notes? Bobby Lashley is wearing his WrestleMania 36 attire, so this is the tights look.
Right.
For Bobby Lashley. And interesting, but this one comes with the armband, the headband, which is actually inaccurate, because by this time he's ditched it.
Yes.
Right? And then Sasha Banks is wearing her promo attire with the legit boss shirt and then just the black tights, and she's got the blue hair, so nice look there. And then the Chase Bobby Lashley, so Bobby Lashley is the Chase variant. This one's wearing trunks, so a little bit of an earlier look. So I guess you could have the armband for this one. He's wearing black trunks with a kind of red outline black logo of the almighty pose thing, and he's
Push
got
Bobby Lashley.
Red elbow pads and wrist tape. And so this series looks pretty nice, and the Seth Rollins is nice, but again, I would like an Elite on that. And the Braun Strowman, since I already have 2 basic Braun Strowmans, if I can't get the Elite, this would be a nice alternative for me, as I don't have an Elite Braun Strowman yet, so it's not necessarily a downgrade yet.
Yes.
Basic Series 113 has also been revealed, the actual figures. John Cena is wearing promo attire. He's wearing, the green armbands again, just like one of his latest basics and his Elite, 71 figure, I think it was. Yeah, and he's got the dad hair. Anyways, he's wearing the green armbands, and he's got a painted on "You Can't Stop Me" shirt, and he's got the jorts as well. Standard Cena figure, and it's fine, but I wish he was wearing a hat, because Lashley has the armband, or why do I keep saying armband? Headband, yes. Drew McIntyre is wearing black trunks, and it's got the purple logos with kind of a silver outline. I think this might be his Royal Rumble attire from this year.
Don't look at me like I'm going to remember.
I know, but I'm just saying I feel like it might be. And then Buddy Murphy is wearing his Royal Rumble attire as well, the Disciple gear, and it's his 3rd figure if you're including his Chase variant in Elite 72. They've already gotten rid of his shorts, which is a shame, because he's got so many cool attires that I think they could have really capitalized on.
Buddy?
And
remember we saw him wrestle Ricochet before Ricochet was
and
widely
the guys
known
were
to be in
making fun of his
WWE.
shorts.
Yeah, we watched him in, where was that one, Oshawa or Peterborough?
Peterborough, I think.
Yeah.
But anyways, so he's already wearing the tights, and I just wish they could have done more with his shorts. Anyways, then we have Edge is wearing a purple and black attire. It's got black tights with the purple and white logos, and then purple kick pads. And nothing much in this. It's not a current Edge yet. I think they're going to do an Ultimate Edition of that, but this is just Rated R Superstar Edge face, so not... The face scan is okay, but I think they could have done better with True FX, but maybe because it's not current Edge, it's a little more difficult.
Probably.
Then we have Mia Yim. She's just wearing her usual attire. I don't know, if you look at it, there's nothing different about it, so I didn't really note much for this. And then the Chase variant is Edge. He's wearing black tights and red logos. They're kind of black logos, red outlined again, and silver kick pads. This one looks better than the purple one to me, but another decent series. I think I liked 112 better, but yeah, that's all I got.
Cool. That's a good little update. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, so I guess that's going to wrap up FNS Wrestling Episode 7. Thank you all for listening to us. Looks like we're getting it in one take this week, and we're back to school next week, so we're going to try and keep our same schedule. We tried to set it up as something we can maintain, so we'll keep trying to publish every Saturday.
There's a nice change of pace this week where NXT was enjoyable.
Yeah,
so.
That was great.
Yep.
So I had fun doing this again as always, so thank you all. You can find us, obviously, FNS Wrestling is where we are on YouTube. We also are on Podbean, FNS Wrestling. One of the nice things about Podbean, I find, as a person who doesn't pay for YouTube, is Podbean you can play in the background of your phone. You can have other things open and it'll still just play the podcast.
Yep.
So that's what I like about it. And then we are on Instagram. Yes, sir?
Yep. FNS_wrestling_podcast. And if you can't find us on Podbean, just go to sports and then go to wrestling, and I'm sure you'll find us right there.
And if you would like to send an email, it's fnswrestling@gmail.com. And we'd love to hear from anyone outside of our immediate family and friend group that listens to this show.
But yeah, because if we do more bonus episodes, we're open to suggestions.
Absolutely. So with that being said, we hope you have a great upcoming week. Everyone that's back to school, I hope everything goes smoothly and safely. And we will look forward to talking to you all next week.
Peace out.
Thank you.